Groovy. Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, March 19th, 2023. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1539.
This is No Agenda.
Feeling incredibly irie and broadcasting live from the heart of the West Indies, Montego Bay, Jamaica. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're wondering why there's such a preoccupation with disgusting toe fungus. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Wow, that's a comeback I didn't expect. I didn't expect the toe fungus line.
Have you looked at an ad? Every website's got toe fungus. They're scraping them. They're digging into the toe. They're putting goop on the toe.
This is gross, man. I don't. This is, yes, of course I've seen those. It's gross.
It's totally gross.
It's gross. I'm in Jamaica.
Why might that be?
The keeper and I decided, since we had not had a vacation last year, as you recall, it went to crap because of the
the vacation where you couldn't get out of the country, or what was it?
Yeah, well, the flight was canceled 3 times, and then by the time they could get us to Aruba, we would have exactly 3 days. So we said no. And then, of course, I can't really take a full-on vacation anymore because we dropped 2 shows already this year because of the procedure, and probably at least another one end of April. Maybe not, but maybe. So we need to keep our quota up. We really never drop more than 2 shows a year, and this year it might be 3. So, and there's a direct flight from Austin to Montego Bay, if you can believe it, once a week.
Oh, drugs.
It's actually yes, drugs. It's actually a regional jet. So it's a tiny one, 2 on one side, 1 on the left. It's only 3 hours, a 3-hour flight. They go straight down to Montego Bay. Of course, it's once a week. So if something's wrong on next Saturday, then we have to stay here another week, unfortunately.
How long does it take you to fly to Key West or to, Miami?
Actually, about the same. Except, it's about the same.
Well, that's not bad.
No, this is perfect for just a quick little, let's get out of Dodge.
It takes me 4 hours to get to Hawaii.
Now, of course, we have to drive an hour and a half to Austin first.
Yes.
Yeah. And,
there you go.
Yeah, and it was, it's the last weekend of South by Southwest. So we had to get there on time because, it was busy. Not as crazy as we've seen it before. But man, what is wrong? TSA has gotten, they've gone completely to shit. Because, I'm carrying the studio bag. I got the studio bag and I got the microphone and headphones in another carry-on bag. And, so there's 7 people at TSA, 7. One, of course, is, to check your ID and make sure that you're okay, good to go. And then there's 2 at the scanner. There's 2 in the back. There's another one one more who apparently his only job is to shuffle the bins around, although they all take turns at the bins. I've seen all of them. And then there's one person who was checking bags with hand check. And so here's how it goes. My bags go through. They spend 5 minutes together looking at my bag. You think if you saw something weird, just be like, okay, let's have someone check that. No, they're pointing at it, they're looking at it, they're looking at me, they're looking at the screen.
Stop. I've noticed, now that you mention it, I've noticed this phenomenon. I agree.
It's ridiculous.
Why are they looking and looking and looking at the bag?
Looking at me?
To decide, why don't they just, like you said, push it over there and have somebody open it and see what it looks like? They don't have to x-ray it.
And meanwhile, they stop the whole belt. The belt is stopped while my first bag is being...
Yeah, it stops production. Exactly.
Stops production. And there's 2 of them looking now. One comes, all right, so that goes off. Then my second bag comes, stop the belt. We got point at this, look at this. You go through the layers, click, 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 click. It looks like a vibrator. Let's embarrass this guy. So it's 15 minutes before someone actually picks up my bag because it's just sitting there next to the sideline. Could one of them pick it up and go check it? No, there's one lady and she's doing everything. And I've never understood this phenomenon. So then we'll take out the offending item, which of course was really only my microphone in one bag, and obviously 2 screens and the Rodecaster in the other. And then we're going to put those in bins, put those things in bins through the belt, and my bags without the offending items through the belt as well. I do not understand this. It makes no sense other than, and by the way, these people hate human beings.
Security theater.
Yeah. Oh, well, we know that, but they hate human beings. You can just tell. And I understand. I'm sure it's a tough job. But back in the day, when I was a kid, even with these crappy jobs, the way Americans would handle that would be, good morning, people. How you doing, everybody? It's let's wakey. Let's do this. You know how it sucks, but we're going to make a good day out of it. You know, someone would have pizzazz. It would be make it fun, make the line laugh. Now no one talks. They're just we're doomed. We're doomed. It's been 30 years since I was last here, and went to the same place that I was 30 years ago. Most of the people who aren't dead still work here, which is crazy. I was here in my 20s, and there's people here in their 50s. Hey, I'm Mr. Curry. You have a new wife. I said, I have my last wife, finally. I thought this place was taken over by the Chinese, but that's not true. Because I've asked everybody, I said, Chinese in charge here? No. We've been holding that. I really thought that they had control of the island, unless they're all got a gun to their head and they're not allowed to say it. And you know, the airport is just as nuts as, it's twice as big, but it's just as disorganized. Completely just chaos. Anyway, nice little couple days here on the island. Now, one other thing I'd like to say, since it's been a while since I've been on the road. When was the last road trip I took? Do you remember? Do you recall? Was that Florida, maybe?
I don't know. Sounds like it. Yeah, Florida.
Okay, so I have the portable kit, which it's all the same. It's the same hard drive, external hard drive. Everything's the same except the computer. And I just open up the cert. Now, of course, luckily I did this yesterday before we left, or the day before yesterday. Open up the Windows machine, the Surface. And the first thing, what do you think? What does this machine do? And I haven't touched it since then. Haven't done anything. What does it say?
Update.
Oh, yeah. Not just an update. 4 hours of update. You don't even get a chance to say, you know what, I'm okay. It was working fine. You don't get to bypass that. No. It just does the update and the update and the update. And then every other especially because, we have Excel sheets. So I open up Excel with our spreadsheet. No. Suspicious activity. Because Excel is being opened somewhere else. It's being opened in Jamaica. No, you have to get a code. What is wrong with these people? And why can't I stop that either?
I don't know. I see the same thing. It's with all of them. It's not just Microsoft, Google. And
yes, yeah.
I've been having trouble getting on Amazon to buy stuff.
Where are you? Are you on an island too?
No. Well, the Berkeley area, kind of.
It's an island we should cut loose. I did notice that RT is blocked on the entire island. That was kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, why can't I get RT? And okay, time to hit the VPN. There we go. Yeah, at least they have internet. Last time I was here, it was cable and wireless, which had, like the equivalent of a dial-up for the whole hotel. You have to sit on the porch and wait 2 hours to get your mail through POP3. So at least they have good connectivity now, and it doesn't, and you can, T-Mobile is here. It works. You don't have to pay $3 a minute for a phone call. It's just, the world is still not straightened out. Very disheartening since our last show, and we deconstructed the BBB party that won 17 seats in the Dutch government. The Boer-Burgerbeweging, the Farmers Citizen
the Build
Movement,
Back Better
the
Party.
Build Back Better 666 party is very, very disheartening to see so many journalists, I'm looking at you, Zero Hedge, who are like, oh, Farmer Party, yeah, that makes sense. No one does any research anymore. No one, and then, which makes me question all of these people right away. They all fell, and now, mind you, it's pretty good because most Dutch people fell for it, clearly, because they voted for it. But man, the deeper I get into the party, these people are all in on tiny homes. They're all in on the whole nitrogen bull crap. Oh yeah, we got to save nature. They're exactly what the New World Order wants.
I might add, that's how you do it.
Well, yes, it's very well done. But, like what's his name? Michael Sullenberger. He's a big anti-climate change guy. In fact, he is the anti-climate change guy. He sends out his Substack. Whoa, look, the farmers can do it. The people voted for the farmers. No. Anyway. That's why your No Agenda show is here, is to keep you safe from these kinds of scams. Like the one that is now being perpetrated.
Tonight, former President Trump claiming he expects to be arrested on Tuesday and telling his followers to protest. In a post on his social media app, Trump saying he believes the charges will come from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and stem from alleged hush money payments.
Hold on a second.
Manhattan.
What was that?
Manhattan.
It's been Manhattan ever since I've been there. Manhattan.
Saying he believes the charges will come from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
There's two. Now, this is a feat, actually. We know that there's a skipping of the T's, but to skip two T's, don't two T's really tell you you've got to put a T sound in there? Am I nuts? Manhattan.
Trump saying he believes the charges will come from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and stem from alleged hush money payments that Trump made to adult film star Stormy Daniels during his first presidential campaign. ABC News has not verified the claims, but later a Trump spokesperson appearing to walk back the post, saying there's been no notification of charges from the DA, blasting the investigation as a witch hunt.
Blasting the investigation. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think about this. Trump did this himself. He set this up. This was a hoax from the beginning. I mean, I saw these reports coming through. Trump going to be arrested. First, I'm like, Trump going to be arrested. He might be indicted, but you can, as it goes, you can indict a ham sandwich. You're not going to throw the ham sandwich in handcuffs and perp walk him. So, and it was all sources.
It's sure exactly what the left wants.
Well, yes.
They want the perp walk.
But I think, Trump is seeing that DeSantis is getting traction. Not for all great things, but DeSantis definitely is saying the right things about some topics. Despite his billionaire backing and let's just take the Republican Party back to where it was. Everything's okay. You're still a slave, but everything's going to be much better. Here's part 2 of this ABC report.
Jay O'Brien with us now from Washington. And Jay, what more are you learning about the Manhattan DA's investigation and any potential charges for former President Trump?
Yeah, with all eyes on the Manhattan DA now. They had no comment today after that Trump post. These grand jury proceedings are secret, but we do know that Stormy Daniels met with prosecutors just this past week and that Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, also testified before this grand jury. We also know that the DA's office told Trump that he had a right to testify before this grand jury himself. That's something that New York prosecutors typically do before they move forward with an indictment.
Now, before I play the German version of this report, which is kind of interesting, anything you want to say about this? Anything you've learned?
Yeah, sure. All this morning, all the shows, they had most of them want to talk about banking and all the rest of it. This includes meet the world or whatever it is.
meet the pundits.
The one with the woman.
With the woman? What is it not Chip Todd? Chip?
No, not the Chip Todd show. The other one. The one, Face the Nation.
Yeah, Face the Woman.
Face the Woman. Face the Woman.
That's the new one.
Face the Woman, which is a great...
I can't believe we just came up with that.
That's a good name for the show.
I'm in agreement.
So, Face the Woman, and so she would ask about banks, and what do you think about Trump getting perp walked, And what do you think about Trump? Everyone who came on, she had to ask him, "What do you think about this Trump thing?
Right. So
is he going to get arrested? You think?" And it's like the whole thing. It's like, who said? Why is Tuesday Red Tamale Day, Taco Tuesday? Why is the Tuesday? Where did Trump get this idea? It's Tuesday, and every time it gives him a little bit more time. But every time he brings it up, there is always a little jab at the grand jury for leaking, and I think they did, and I think the Democrats are leaking all this stuff, and just to make him look bad. And if nothing else, and I'm not going to disagree with the possibility that this is all bull crap and it's all designed by Trump just to get attention, but it's also designed to stir up the other side because they don't know what to do. Whoa! What are we going to do?
Fight! Of course, we're going to fight. We got to go fight. Here, listen to the Deutsche Welle. Two-parter, actually. It was so funny how they look at this. Here's kind of the intro with the news guy, and then we'll go to the pundit.
Welcome, so say many, back to the Trump circus, because here is the former president knowing something nobody else apparently knows, and that is that he's going to get arrested next Tuesday, he says. And for that matter, he calls for protests. That is a message to his faithful. He is back on YouTube. He's back on Facebook. He will and is expected to come back to Twitter soon. Now he's still disseminating his messages on his own network through social. So nobody gave any official word of that in arrest or indictment. Actually, that's the more accurate thing. And processing the president is going to happen anytime soon. You're absolutely right. This is the so-called Stormy Daniels case, the hush money case, 7 years in the making. And the Manhattan District Attorney is expected to bring charges against the former president, Donald Trump. That would be a first time. That would make, whenever it's going to happen, for some awkward moments, because, as you know, the president is supposed to be protected by the Secret Service. Former presidents are protected by the Secret Service, too. So they would have to basically accompany him for his processing. That means taking a mugshot and taking his fingerprints electronically. The Secret Service making sure this is all happening safely. Weird.
Weird. He's calling to his faithful. Okay. So I think this is actually a better analysis than anything I saw on American news. Like this
it sounds better. I haven't heard that one, but it does sound better than the crazy stuff we're getting.
Now here's the second part.
Right. Stefan, in his post, Trump wrote to his followers, I'll read it out to you, "Protest, take our nation back." This carries really unmistakable echoes of the types of messages he was posting leading up to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. How worried are authorities of a repeat of that, perhaps, should Trump be indicted?
Yeah, right on. This is exactly what they are afraid.
I love this guy. Yeah, right on. He's a German from the 70s.
Be indicted.
Yeah, right on. This is exactly what they are afraid of. Now, truth being told, and in all fairness, nobody expects Trump to have still the oomph, the power to, marshal these kind of crowds, and specifically not in New York, in Manhattan, to protest for him and against a possible indictment. But, of course, authorities are concerned, and they're meeting, and that is FBI, this is New York Police Department, of course, Secret Service, as mentioned before, all those agencies and many more, they're meeting for at least a week or two now behind closed doors and try to figure out, okay, what are we going to do if there is a protest? What measures are we taking? And you can be assured that these preparations are well underway for the case that it's happening, that there will be many hundreds or thousands of protesters whenever this is going to happen, what the former president is predicting to happen here.
Thank you, Deutsche Welle.
A question came to mind.
Sure.
And I don't, again, this whole thing is
sketch.
Definitely something you just have to wait and see.
Sketch, to say the least.
Yes, yeah. If he was indicted and a warrant went out, would his own Secret Service people have to arrest him by law?
No, they have to defend him by law, don't they? Wow.
No, the Secret Service is a law enforcement agency.
Listen to this. Listen to the rain. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Oh, the raining?
Yeah, well, that's a tropical climate, so it'll storm for a moment here. It'll make it really noisy through the noise gate.
It gets a little humid.
It gets a little humid, yeah. I would.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, wouldn't they have to defend him? I mean, now which
They're
which
a
way
law
do we go?
enforcement agency. Wouldn't they have to arrest him?
I don't know. Well, the Secret Service.
They're not personal bodyguards.
No, but they are there to protect him. So the question is,
but that
what
doesn't
is
mean.
first?
Obeying the law.
I don't know what their priority is.
Well, I think that's the question. This is interesting because I bet you somebody in the audience knows the answer to that question.
Because I think that actually they work for the Treasury. They don't work for the.
But they're law enforcement.
Yeah, about money. Isn't it?
Well, they're also.
I don't know.
Well, now we're just showing what we don't know on this show.
But at least we don't say right on.
Right on, far out, groovy.
You want to hear the
right on?
You want to hear the NBC report, which includes all the details?
Yeah, of course.
What do we know about Cohen's testimony, and how damaging does it appear to be for former President Trump?
Well, we know that he's really the key player, other than Trump himself.
This guy is out on the street, and he has. You know what? I'm not even going to play this. I forgot. He has his earbuds in, and he's using that as a microphone. This is NBC. NBC.
No.
Yes. Listen how muffled he sounds.
In this transaction, and that he's the one who set it up. He's actually the one who made the $130,000 payment.
He's actually probably doing it on FaceTime. This is NBC. Never mind.
That's NBC. Oh, that's the NBC should be ashamed of themselves.
We're not going to play that. That's just too nasty. Anyway,
I actually have I don't think I even have one lone clip on this topic.
Well, because I was seeing it everywhere, I'm like, well, I should probably.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Clip something about this, yeah. Now, what I have now for me, the next story would be actually, it's no coincidence, I guess, as we have. Let me see. We have former President Trump possibly being arrested, and we have a similar situation with current President Putin.
So, thank you very much. The actual arrest warrant is not publicly available. There has been a statement issued today by the ICC where they specify a little bit what this is about. And as already mentioned before, it is Putin is being accused of being responsible for the war crime of unlawful deportation of population, and they specified children, and that of unlawful transfer of the unlawful transfer of these from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation. The ICC, or the investigator of the ICC, is saying that there are reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Putin bears individual criminal responsibility for these crimes. So this is basically what has been put towards Putin.
So this is, again, Deutsche Welle report. I have a U.S. report, but I thought this was interesting. You know, we know that the International Criminal Court, that has no standing, neither in Russia or in the United States.
Or China.
But there's 127 countries have bought into this. And so they were already talking about, having a special tribunal that is attached to the ICC. But that wasn't really feeling good because it was only about the crimes of aggression. So they upped the ante and said, what can we do? Yeah. I know. Throw children. Kidnapping of children. Here's CBS.
Russian propaganda claims the country is trying to save Ukraine's children and that the hearts of Russians are big and benevolent. But the International Criminal Court today was clear. Russia is kidnapping and re-educating children as Russians.
Re-educating!
Accused of war crimes are President Vladimir Putin himself and Maria Lvova-Belova, the director of these alleged abductions.
Why me?
It would be impossible to commit such a criminal operation, says President Zelensky, without the order of the top leader of the terrorist state.
Moscow has denied the accusations and does not recognize the ICC.
Yeah, that poor blonde woman got sucked into this. She can't go to Paris.
So now everyone has an opinion because, the ICC, everyone has an opinion.
And Vladimir Putin will not be arrested as long as he stays in Russia. But if he travels to any ICC member country, 123 of them, the U.S., by the way, is not a signatory. That warrant means that he could be arrested.
Now, this was great how they positioned that. So he could be arrested. The U.S. Well, but listen, it was really good. Just the ending here.
U.S., by the way, is not.
Hold on.
123 of them. The U.S., by the way, is not a signatory. That warrant means that he could be arrested.
He just bakes that into the sentence. Well, that warrant means he could be arrested, but not in America. But
you're right. That's a very curious structure.
It was like it was edited in almost in an odd way.
It's one of those things. It's a non sequitur.
So
there's no question in my mind about that.
So, he can't travel because, he's going to get arrested. Not in the U.S., but he's going to get arrested, And then...
Well, the Russian news agencies are saying that Vladimir Putin is in Mariupol. I would be also careful even we see pictures. We know that Vladimir Putin also uses doppelgangers for visits, and he's not known for...
Did you see this? So Putin is in Mariupol. He's in the movie theater that apparently the Russians bombed and killed everybody in the theater. But, let's just make sure Deutsche Welle points out that he uses doppelgangers all the time, so this is probably not the real Putin. All of a sudden, they're using our conspiracy theories?
No, that Vladimir Putin also uses doppelgangers for visits, and he's not known for traveling around on the front line. However, be it him, be it a doppelganger, well, this is highly symbolic. It is seen as a provocation.
That's not me, by the way. That's this lady on the oh, yeah.
This is highly symbolic. It is seen as a provocation on two levels. The first one is that Vladimir Putin, he's the head of state, but now it's been 2 days. He's also been a wanted war criminal. So this is a provocation towards the international community, first and foremost. It also shows how little he cares about the search warrants issued by the International Criminal Court. The second provocation, of course, is towards Ukraine itself. He's traveling in occupied territories, and he's traveling to the city that has really been seen here as a martyr city, as one where war crimes were perpetrated, at a scale that really shocked not just in Ukraine but also internationally. Of course, I'm talking about Mariupol. I'm talking about this bombing on hundreds of civilians who were taking shelter in the theater there. This is one of the war crimes that will be investigated both here and by the international community.
Where did this report come from?
Deutsche Welle.
Well, they got better people than her.
Well, it was the connection. She was, she's on her own iPhone, or as they say in Deutschland, iPhone, and so she just has a crappy connection. But as she's saying, this doppelganger, response. Of course, Putin's not. It's not really him. It's a doppelbanger. And instead of, where he's in the theater. Well, this is clearly a fake theater. This can't be right. Hundreds of people were killed there. Well, and of course it's propagandist from him. He's walking around in the theater that he supposedly was responsible for blowing up. So the propaganda wars are on, and it's fun. Back to CBS.
What's the likelihood that Vladimir Putin will ever be held accountable? He hasn't been indicted. He's not likely to be extradited.
Unlike Trump, he hasn't even been indicted. I mean, we treat Putin better than Trump.
What's the likelihood that Vladimir Putin will ever be held accountable? He hasn't been indicted. He's not likely to be extradited to The Hague anytime soon.
Extradited to The Hague? I mean, these people are insane.
He's still firmly in control of Russia.
By the way, how can you even say this knowing that the United States does not recognize the International Criminal Court and even suggest that he is not likely to be extradited to The Hague? Which is, the whole thing is just the mainstream media. M5M is
comic.
It's comic, yeah. They're going nuts.
What's the likelihood that Vladimir Putin will ever be held accountable? He hasn't been indicted. He's not likely to be extradited to The Hague anytime soon. He's still firmly in control of Russia, and no sitting leader has ever faced such charges. But it could be the beginning of something here because the court went straight to the top.
Yeah.
They didn't go low level and build. And so it suggests
picked up
that
that
there's
poor
more of a
blonde.
case to come.
Did they pick her up? I don't think they picked her
No,
up.
I mean, they picked on her.
Oh, yeah.
No, they have she's not, but she can't go to Paris anymore, the poor woman.
Top. They didn't go low level and build. And so it suggests that there's more of a case to come. As Ramey said, traveling could be more difficult for Putin if he tries to leave and can only now go to friendly countries. But here in the U.S.
So he went to Ukraine, a friendly country. Well done, people.
Traveling could be more difficult for Putin if he tries to leave and can only now go to friendly countries. But here in the U.S., we know that the Biden administration is already building a case and looking towards future charges potentially of genocide. They've identified 43 camps holding at least 6,000 children. And as Secretary Blinken said, this is an attempt to really erase Ukraine's identity and its future. Some of these camps are closer to Alaska than they are to Ukraine.
So we went from kidnapping to genocide in 53 seconds. So first it was re-educating the children, taking them to camps, kidnapping. Now it's genocide because you're brainwashing them into and taking them away from you. It's the future of Ukraine, these children. What are those children even doing? When were they taken? And how come we're only did we know about this? I don't remember any of this.
Oh, yeah.
This
was the evacuation of the kids in Donbass area only. Before they they started getting. Right. They moved them to Russia so for safekeeping. There was a lot of reporting on this, and it was always done. The early reporting, which was at least 6 months ago, was as a humanitarian thing.
I have what is this? This is from November 2022.
A Ukrainian company revealed its new body armor for children, designed to wear as they evacuate the war zone.
There you go.
Well, but where were they evacuating?
They're
report,
evacuating them to Russia.
That report from ABC makes it sound like the Ukrainians were evacuating them.
Well, in some cases they were. It depends on whether they spoke Russian or Ukrainian. I mean, a lot of it had to do with the ethnic background of the kids.
Okay.
They were taking the Russian kids to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's kidnapping. Now, I have a series of... I didn't want to bring these in right now, but I have a series of clips about... show you what kind of propaganda that our side is doing.
Good.
This is Mark Levin. I don't normally do radio stuff.
Wait. Is he the great one?
Yeah, he's the great one.
Okay.
Him and Hannity, which is funny to watch because they're the two big promoters of the war.
Yeah, on Fox, the Fox War Twins. The War Twins.
Well, Levin's only on Sundays, but Levin's got a radio show, and he promotes the war and thinks that everybody's he just basically promotes the war. But you have to listen to him when he goes on one of his rants, and I've got 3 clips.
Okay.
Where he's describing the problem, the reason we should all be on board.
Yeah.
And I want you to listen carefully and tell me what you think of this analysis. This is Mark Levin on Ukraine raping.
Now, I've talked about here Vladimir Putin. Whatever you think about what's going on over there, this man is a monster. And what they're doing to the Ukrainian people is horrendous. And there's video of this. There's pictures of this. They can't show it on TV. It's so horrific, or they won't. The Russian soldiers are decapitating people. I'm talking about citizens. They are gang raping the women. They're leaving the condoms right next to them. Then they murder them.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, hold on a second. Hey, Ivan, no raping without condom. What kind of raping is this?
This is not a good rape.
Hold on a second with your raping. Get that condom on, buddy.
Wait. Take your Viagra first. Hold on. We got the emergency packets here. It's always the same.
Now, the other thing about the raping with condoms, which is just ludicrous if you think about it, is that then you rape and then you kill. Now, the traditional historic raping process is to overtake the genetics of the land that you're conquering and impregnate the women.
That's why you're not doing it just for yucks. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's why half of the public in the United States and around the world has epicanthal little folds on their eyes is because of the Mongols who went into Eastern Europe and raped everybody and put this genetic little gene into everybody's background, and you have this look that everyone has. A lot of people have.
I've never heard this discussed anywhere. By the way, it can be very triggering if we're just laughing about raping, which is not funny at all. So I want to say we understand the sensitivity.
We're not laughing at raping. We're laughing at the stupidity of these commentaries.
Yes,
because they make no sense.
Oh man! I had never really thought about it, but the mongrels who were raping to spread the
mongrels, not mongrel, mongol.
Sorry about that. This is so messed up. And does he have any evidence for this? He said, "Oh, they can't show it."
Yeah, there's lots of videos, but they won't show them.
And has he seen them? I mean, why doesn't he?
I have no idea. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Is this before or after they blow up the toilets that they hate so much?
Yeah, the toilet blowing up, they dropped the ball on that. Here's another little, go into clip 2.
They are enslaving the children, which I've talked to you about before, and they're shipping them to re-education, or if you will, concentration camps in Russia and giving them to families.
Okay, now how do you go within just a short period of time to enslaving the children, sending them to re-education camps, and then giving them to families all in, what, a week? I mean, don't you have to do something? You can enslave the children. Don't you enslave them? It takes a while, to get your money's worth. And then
get your money's
re-education takes at least 6 months.
This is crazy. And this was on his Fox show?
This is on his daily radio show.
On his radio show. Wow, this guy's nuts.
And, well, since you're doing this, let's go with the clip 3.
Okay.
And even though this analogy is made too often, that's Nazism. That's exactly what that is. People are having their faces smashed in with sledgehammers. Hands are tied behind their backs. They're held down. People are being burned alive, and their corpses are found on the side of the street. They're finding mass graves from these little towns that they conquer. And then when they're pushed out, they slaughter the people there. That's what they're doing. And that's not being told to you by the Putinoids or whatever they call themselves. Why?
The Putinoids?
Yeah, that'd be Tucker Carlson. He hates him.
Oh, is that a Putinoid?
He's a Putinoid. Now,
goodness gracious. This guy, first of all, screw this guy. I mean, without one shred of, war, of course, atrocities happen in any kind of war. But I would say there's atrocities in the United States on this level every single day that we don't talk about. But this level of this is really unconscionable what he's saying. And do you think that people are quote unquote buying this from him?
Well, his fans, I'm sure, are. But the idea that this war, which is a war of attrition, as it's been brought up, where you just get killed, you stand up, you're dead.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful. You're not going to go around, hey, there's a Ukrainian, let's grab him. Hold on, Ivan, let me find a sledgehammer, which I'm lugging around for no known reason because I need a sledgehammer. Wow. And let's tie this guy behind his back and let me sledgehammer his head. Who has time for this bull crap?
It's insane.
So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff you get on talk radio in the United States from guys that are pro-war.
It's real. It's disturbing. It would be disturbing.
I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
Well, and the kick is not the right word. My goodness. I concede. I think I was pretty wrong about the jet fuel on the drone.
Yeah.
Although I was pretty sure it wasn't to light the jet fuel on fire.
That was my thinking.
I know.
Because I think that'd be a funny idea.
So I did get a note from Doder. He's a Navy fighter pilot and trainer.
Doder,
you got it. He says, The Su-27s were indeed dumping fuel. From the video, you can plainly see the fuel trail coming from out of the aft section of the fuselage. Most operational military aircraft have the ability to fuel dump. When dumping, it does look like a vapor trail, as you were describing, because it is a vapor trail. It's a vapor trail of fuel. I know because I've dumped thousands and thousands of pounds of JP5 in my career. I don't know if I should be telling this. I've also been sprayed by F-18s who forgot to turn their dumps off when waving them onto the ship. John C's idea that they were dumping fuel to try and set it ablaze is incorrect. Jet fuel is purposely blended to increase its flash point, i.e. it will not ignite without a really hot and sustained heat source.
This is true.
He says, my guess...
I used to be in charge of JP4, JP5 when I was at Union Oil to make sure that it was... it didn't have a lot of... You have to be careful. It's got to be very dry.
What exactly is JP? Is that just a grade of fuel? Is that what that is?
Jet something.
Jet propulsion?
It's a grade of kerosene, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
It's a very high grade of kerosene.
The Su-27 aircraft did strike the propeller of the UAV. He says, I believe inadvertently, and it was simply a case of the Su-27 pilots being a-holes. My guess is they were airborne, they got bored, saw the contact, decided to play a game of who can get closest
Jet
to it.
Pilots, they're all the same.
Well, he finished dump fuel on it since their ROE must prohibit, rules of engagement must prohibit engaging directly. The second jet misjudged his closure and his vector, and his tail hit the prop when he was pulling away from it during his run. Now,
here's a question that I would like to have him answer.
Sure.
So they show clearly in one of the films the prop had a little ding in it. The prop had a little bend at the end.
Without the stripes.
And why couldn't it continue to fly around?
Well, here's what I saw. Now, first, I clearly saw that there was stripes in one shot and no stripes on the other. I don't know exactly what happened, but one of the props was also feathered. So you have now two blades basically inoperational. I think who knows where they even were or what altitude? We don't know much.
Well, they did show one shot of, you could see Crimea from the camera.
But it's very hard to tell altitude from the ground up or from
I'm not saying it was up or down. I'm just saying it was close enough you could see the island or whatever
whatever it was. We don't know. I mean, and people are going to try deconstructing this forever. Because I saw the blade thing, and they didn't have the Russian star underneath the wing. There's lots of things that are out there, but when the Navy jet fighter pilot and trainer says this to us, I think we just have to stop. At least I feel like I'm going to stop now, because otherwise I'm just making myself look foolish. Although I'm itching. And then of course we have the jets, the old clunkers going from Poland to Ukraine. Which is also interesting.
Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent, Emmanuel Chaz. She explained that the new jets won't necessarily make much of a difference on the ground.
So this is interesting. This is France 24. Now, I don't know exactly how many old jets the Poles are going to send, but they're old. So they probably have, the rep contacted them from the military-industrial complex. And, hey,
get rid of your MiG-29s.
Get rid of that old crap. We're going to sell you some new stuff, and you're going to like it. You're going to buy it. So what the lead-in is, they're not going to make much difference. Tell me where this lady actually said that, or what she's really saying at all.
Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent, Emmanuel Chaz. She explained that the new jets won't necessarily make much of a difference on the ground.
Which, of course, makes sense, because a jet doesn't make much difference on the ground unless you're strafing people on the ground.
Just the 4 planes that are going to come up.
4 planes.
Isn't it strafing?
What did I say?
Strafing.
I meant, my teeth are messed up. Strafing.
You said it fine.
Okay. 4 jets. It's 4. Big deal.
4?
Here's what
4
says.
jets?
She says 4 jets.
Are they going to just blow them up over the troops so that maybe the stuff falling down will kill someone?
It's on the ground.
Just the 4 planes that are going to come are not the ones that are going to make the difference. However, if more and more planes are coming, this could be obviously a game changer at a time where Ukraine is gearing up for what all Western experts...
I don't understand. She says it's not going to make much difference. 4, but if more come, oh yeah, that'll be a game changer. What's the level? 8?
Yeah,
10?
What's your number? Where's your line? Where's your red line?
Think will be a spring counter offensive. You were mentioning Bakhmut. It's a war of attrition there, a war that costs probably thousands of lives. It's been a war that has been.
There's your war of attrition, which I didn't even, the first time you said it, it didn't even catch on with me. I didn't really, but now I'm hearing it all the time. The war of attrition, which is the way you
World War I.
Yeah, the way you explain it is who loses more people. That's what that is.
Exactly.
Probably thousands of lives. It's been a war that has been waging for over 7 months there with Wagner mercenaries.
7 months? Oh, she's talking about Bakhmut. Is that what it is? That's why, because it's been more than a year.
No, I have no idea.
Trying to launch, dozens of offensives a day, but also military experts are seeing that perhaps we've seen the culmination of those fights already, and it's, and the Wagner mercenary groups simply don't manage to break the Ukrainian defense. Heavy losses on both sides, but for each 5 to 7 Russian soldiers or mercenary of Wagner who dies, as one Ukrainian soldier who dies. So both sides have casualties, but really, the Russian troops are.
I'm also getting pretty tired of this Wagner group. Is that the only people who are left fighting? Is the Wagner group?
That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, so Russia is out of people. It's only mercenaries.
This is not very well done. This whole analysis.
Are losing a lot of personnel, a lot of equipment there. And you were mentioning shelling is continuing over the region on Bakhmut, on Vorleda, which is also a fierce battle. And in Donetsk, of course, civilians are bombed. There was a shelling last night which killed 1 person and injured several others.
I heard from military contacts, which at this point, I don't believe anybody, but I really don't. I mean, who can you believe? This whole thing could be wag the dog. I mean, from both sides. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue any of that.
We have very little casualties to show. I mean, I'm getting video from somewhere in the region, and it's pretty horrible. You see Ukrainians, dead Russians. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But I'm getting information that the explosive, the ordnance guys, the good ordnance guys. That they say 90% of all buildings destroyed in Ukraine are from Ukrainian artillery. That they just, whatever, they don't even know what they're doing, apparently.
What?
That it's not from Russian artillery, but Ukrainian artillery. That's been destroying the building.
Don't you remember, that was from the beginning we've had this issue. When the Ukrainians were bombing their own buildings, or they were saying, "Look what the Russians did."
Yeah,
it was almost a year ago.
That's almost like they downed that the Malaysian Airlines flight,
or that gray ghost guy, whoever it was.
Oh yeah, that guy. Where's he? Where's he flying the 4 jets? And it seems like even if you have 4 jets, you could probably take out some military installations. It would make a difference on the ground. This whole thing is sketch, and the worldwide press.
You're saying I don't.
I know. I'm saying it too much. You're right.
Yeah.
What should I replace it with?
Sketchy.
Oh, sketchy. Okay. But even
that's where the word comes from.
But if I had said
they've taken 1 letter off the word.
If I had said sketchy twice, you would have called me out as well.
No, this sketch is like merch.
Okay. Wow, I need to flog myself for that. That's bad. All right, let's go back to CBS and see what else we have on Russia.
And yet, President Xi of China still plans this trip on Monday to stand side by side next to Putin. Will this affect any of that?
Will he go? Well, China itself is accused of carrying out actively a genocide against minorities.
Oh, genocide,
everyone's a genocide.
We got a genocide guy here, and we got a genocide guy there. It's the genocide boys.
It's the Jenny brothers. That's right.
Side against minorities. Does it bother Xi Jinping to stand next to an accused war criminal? We'll see. But what we know has been happening is that as the West tries to isolate Russia, that tie between Russia and China has only grown stronger through trade and increased work together. The White House is saying it hasn't yet seen weapons transferred for use on the battlefield in Ukraine, but they're increasingly concerned that there may be a military alliance between China and Russia.
Wow. Man, these people are... I mean, do they get up and take off their uniform before they go to work? These people, they just love war. They're all jacked on war and jacked on just using genocide just willy-nilly. And what happened to our genocide of the American Indians? Forgot about that. All right, then we have a last one from this CBS. This is ABC now.
But here in the east, in the cover of darkness, a Ukrainian special drone unit heads out towards the front lines.
A Ukrainian special drone unit. So let's just specify, there's drones and there's drones. The drone that got hit by the Russian fighter jet, that's a proper drone.
That's a drone.
That's a drone. This thing is like an Amazon drone.
No, this is like what you get it for Christmas.
Yeah.
You fly it around the house.
Special drone unit heads out towards the front lines. The team works fast, only using minimal light. They don't want to alert Russian reconnaissance. This is the Punisher, a fixed-wing drone assembled in minutes.
The crucial
difference with this drone is it can fly so much further. It can fly deep behind enemy lines, and it can carry more ordnance. Take a look at this. This is 2 pounds worth of explosives.
The Punisher can fly up to 40 miles. Drone missions like these are critical to support frontline troops. And as these videos from the Ukrainian...
Wait, what did they call them? Drone technicians?
40 miles. Drone missions like these...
Drone-missions?
No, drone missions like these.
Oh, drone missions. I thought...
It can fly up to 40 miles. Drone missions like these are critical to support frontline troops. And as these videos from the Ukrainian military show, they aim to hit ammunition stores, artillery positions, even suspected leadership locations.
The Punisher. The heck, man. This is all it's really I predict this season, this Christmas season in stores. Hey kids, get it now. The Punisher. You can be like the Ukrainians on the front lines with the Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sick of this. It's really just like, can we stop? Now I can't believe it, but I'm begging for Xi to put an end to this nonsense.
Well, let's hope he can, because we're not going to.
No, we're just stacking it up a little bit. You know, I've been looking at evaluating Africa. What's going on? Everyone's visiting Africa. Everyone's in Africa.
Yeah.
And
Africa nuts.
And now Niger is the latest, and who shows up in Niger? Well, of course, it's got to be Abe Lincoln.
Yes, Antony Blinken is to be the first U.S. Secretary of State to visit Niger amid concerns over Sahel security and the growing Russian influence. The West African country has become an increasingly important partner for the West in the Sahel. There have been successive coups in Mali and Burkina Faso, and there's been the growing influence of Russia's private mercenary group,
Wagner Group. Yeah, there's the Wagner Group. They're everywhere. The Wagner Group, yeah. What happened to Academy and Z and Blackwater, our guys? Are they just all out of business? Or is it the same guys?
I think there's got to be some crossover.
There's got to be crossover.
I don't know, where did Eric Prince go? I mean, he's the key guy to figure out if you want to know what's going on, and no one's interviewing him.
I think he became a venture capitalist. I don't know what became of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, so what is going on in Niger? The UN troops have been in Mali. They've been rotating in, rotating out. The Dutch were there, the Americans were there, the French. What is going on in Niger? What's happening? Oh, well, France 24 will actually tell us.
A desert landscape in Niger's northern Arlit region. The less advanced country is home to one of the world's largest uranium reserves, the main source of nuclear fuel. It's one of the EU and France's largest suppliers, and French nuclear giant Orano is looking again at a potential site in the region.
C'est un gisement d'environ 200 000 tonnes d'uranium.
It's a deposit of about 200,000 tons of uranium. It's a major project for Orano. It was mothballed in 2015, and we are relaunching the project following several hydrogeological studies that lead us to believe that the ISR method may be very interesting for the exploitation of this deposit. This method involves using chemicals to dissolve uranium from the rock that is still in the ground and pumping it to the surface, rather than conventional mining.
So they have some kind of new technology.
Oh, my God. I can just imagine what that is. It's not going to be a technology you want to be around.
It's going to ruin Niger.
I don't even know. I mean, I could be dead wrong. They could be using salt water, but I doubt it.
Well,
it's got to be like hydrofluoric acid or some damn thing they're going to do, and it's going to poison the area.
It's Niger. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Niger, what does it make?
And even though I don't have any clips, Turkey, after they switched the earthquake machine on, oh yeah, you want to be in NATO? You want to be the guy stopping it? Oh yeah, here's an earthquake, which you don't hear anything about. It's over, right? The earthquake might as well just not have happened. 40, 50,000 people dead, they say. I mean,
minimum.
Trump, Putin, Manhattan. They will now start ratifying Finland's NATO application, which, and I love this. So Finland, who has quite a border neighboring on Russia, they think it's a great idea. Oh yeah, let's be NATO now. But I'm sure I had this. Hold on a second, I don't understand. I'm sure I had this.
Well, they also bitched about the fact that Sweden's not going in with them yet.
Yeah, well, I have it.
And of course, the big hang-up, and nobody really quite knows how to deal with it, which is Hungary still says no. But they said they're going to say yes.
Here's Jens. Now, this was a 2-minute clip, which I shortened by 40 seconds just by taking out the pauses.
I welcome to today's decision by Turkey to move ahead.
Turkey.
With the ratification of Finland's membership in NATO. This will strengthen Finland's security, it will strengthen Sweden's security, and it will strengthen NATO. I hope that the Turkish Grand National Assembly will vote to ratify as soon as possible. At the NATO summit in Madrid last June, all allies made the historic decision to invite Finland and Sweden to join our alliance. Since then, we have seen the fastest ratification process in NATO's modern history. At the critical time for our security, this will make our alliance stronger and safer. I recently visited Turkey and met with President Erdogan. The President and I agreed to convene a meeting of Turkey, Finland and Sweden at NATO headquarters. At that meeting last week, all recognized that considerable progress has been made in implementing the trilateral memorandum signed in Madrid, and that rapid ratifications for Finland and Sweden are in everyone's interest. The most important thing is that both Finland and Sweden become full members of NATO quickly, not whether they join at exactly the same time. Last year's decision to invite both Finland and Sweden has fundamentally strengthened their relationship with NATO. As a consequence, their security is much enhanced. They are sitting around NATO's table, integrating into our political and military structures, exercising more with allies. And both countries have received bilateral security assurances from many NATO countries, including the US, UK, Germany and France. So it is inconceivable that NATO would not respond should either Finland or Sweden come under attack. Their security matters to NATO. I look forward to a rapid conclusion of the accession process and to welcoming both Finland and Sweden to the NATO family as full members as soon as possible.
We are family. So you think Hungary's going to buckle?
Hungary says they already did, but I mean, they say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna sign on. We just have to do this." We got some paperwork, and it was supposed to be done by Christmas,
but the FedEx didn't arrive,
and they're still stalling. I think they're gonna continue to stall for a while, hoping this war ends, and maybe. I think they're just going to stall. I mean, they're going to have to. They've already agreed to say yes. They just haven't.
Yeah, but they're dragging their heels.
They're exactly.
Meanwhile, be on the lookout for the next. This is great. Meet KillNet. KillNet. Russia's hacking patriots plaguing Europe. Nice alliteration, Politico.
Yeah, these guys are, yeah.
Pro-Russian hackers hit countries taking action against Russia for its war in Ukraine.
And by the way, we should stop. I want you to finish that, obviously, but people should always have in the back of their mind that the great hackers are in Ukraine.
Yes.
They're in Ukraine. The Russians just take their back seat. We're the number probably 3 or 4 after the Iranians.
Beside the point that our tools, the, Vault 9, that were stolen?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Which can be used to make anything look like Russia.
Yeah, it looks like Russians. That's what you do.
A ragtag group of Russian hacktivists is targeting European governments, infrastructure, even its prized Eurovision Song Contest. I can't wait for the song contest this year. They're doing that with cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. Oh yeah, they're gonna hack the winner. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be if they hack the voting of the Eurovision Song Contest? Put it in the red book, please. I think KillNet will be hacking the Eurovision song. Politico put this in here for a reason in the first graph of this whole article. The pro-Kremlin hacker collective by the name of KillNet has launched a barrage of, this is inflammatory, a barrage of attacks on Western government networks and critical infrastructure this summer, loudly claiming victories on social media channels and in Russian media and causing headaches for Russia's adversaries and security authorities. Fancy Bear and Sandworm's a new one. Sandworm is now. Have you heard of Sandworm?
Sounds like a CIA product.
I'm going to put that as Sandworm, please. Well, I hope that they attack it's in the UK this year, the Eurovision Song Contest, a proxy for Ukraine, who, of course, won last year.
What a coincidence.
Isn't that great? Wow, I love that. I thought this is great. I love the KillNet. KillNet. Okay. All right. Let's talk about our stupid president. I see you got a whole bunch of clips about Biden, and you've promised this, you've teased this for 2 shows in a row. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to laugh.
Okay. Well, first of all, before we go to the clip blitz of Biden, I do want to bring up a couple of, since it was St. Patrick's Day yesterday, Friday. Mm-hmm. We do have a couple of classic. Biden always says something about being Irish and St. Patrick's Day. I have this year's 2023 teetotaler clip I want to play.
Hold on.
Red 33. Clip blitz.
Classic, a clip blitz.
Well, this is not a clip. The clip blitz is coming, but let's go with 2023 teetotaler.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Now, I'm the only Irishman you ever met, though, that's never had a drink, so I'm okay. Uh-huh. I'm really not Irish.
So,
okay. What was that all about?
Where was this?
It was at one of these little. It was just a recent little one meet and greet. Wasn't anything important.
And so he's saying, "I'm the only Irishman you've never seen, who's never had a drink. I'm not even Irish." Okay, and people, you're so funny. Huh?
Well, for one thing, we used to have a drunk or not drunk bit based on that guy.
Yeah, we did.
How does that work? Yeah. Now, in 2020, I believe this is 2022. This is the clip that everyone plays where he says, I'm Irish, but I'm not stupid,"
mm-hmm.
which was an insult, of course, to the Irish, because the Irish are obviously stupid, and he's not. But the full clip is never played.
Let's hear the short version first. Is that what I'm doing here?
No, there's only one version, and it's the 2022 stupid, and it's the whole 4 seconds, and it's got a little tidbit at the end which says to me, "Wait a minute," and then it brings up another problem.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. I married Dominic Giacoppa's daughter.
Whoa, let me listen again. I didn't hear that properly. Let me listen again.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. I married Dominic Giacoppa's daughter.
I married Dominic Giacoppa's daughter?
That's Jill Biden's granddad is Dominic not his daughter, but the granddad was Dominic Giacoppa. They changed their name to Jacob. There's an Italian Sicilian family where she comes from. And I'm thinking, well, that's why Jill Biden was going to get the money. Then it turns out the money went to Hunter Biden. You know, the money we're talking about, who's the other person getting the money from China in last show. And there was a mysterious Biden involved, which turned out to be the widow of Hunter Biden. But we always thought Jill Biden was the head of the crime family. And the Giacoppa family.
Well, just because...
Did you know this?
No, and just because she didn't get this money doesn't mean she isn't still ahead of the whole Biden crime family. It's in her genes. It's in her DNA.
She's a Sicilian? And I don't want to say that all Sicilians are...
Careful. Hey, we love you. Mafia, we love you guys. We love the Sopranos.
Jesse Buzzkill Jr.'s wife is Sicilian. And...
Watch your back. Watch your back. Watch your back.
I'm always careful around her. So,
wow, I had no idea about this.
I didn't either. And then when I heard this and I looked into it, because they always clip that off. Oh, interesting. And I'm saying, and it was like a gaffe anyway, because that's the granddad's name.
Wow.
They came over from Sicily and they changed their name to Jacob. And
hey, Mimi doesn't have a horse, does she?
Yeah, Mimi's actual Smith from the Pilgrim days.
From Alias Smith and Jones.
I don't know about that. So Biden goes on the comedy.
Let me just say, even though it's kind of weird, I think it deserves a clip of the day.
Clip of the day. Well, thanks. That was not expected.
Well, it's kind of deserved because that was amazing. I did not know this.
I didn't know it either. In fact, it kind of bugged me that they've actually kept it suppressed.
Yeah.
So here we go.
All right.
So Biden goes on Comedy Central with this guy, Cal Penn.
Yep.
He's an Indian.
Is this the Daily Show with the rotating
Daily
host?
Show. Yep. Cal Penn actually should be called Kalpan Modi. He's an Indian American.
Okay.
And he is gay, outwardly gay, and he makes a big fuss about it.
Outwardly gay?
Well, actually, no, I take it back. He's just gay.
Okay.
He's just gay. He's not outwardly gay. Would be to me flamboyant.
I was going to. He's not flamboyant. He's out.
I don't think
he's
so.
out. He's openly gay.
He's out. That's what I meant. Out gay, not outwardly. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
So
keeping your gay.
So I have a whole series of short. Here's a whole bunch of short clips that were. This was the worst interview I've ever seen.
Or one thing, you mean the best? You mean the best? Really, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean that. So here we go. Here's the premise. This is clip one. The premise. Now you listen to this premise, and you can see why this is already going to be bad.
We talked about our divided country and how young people's advocacy can affect policy on climate, drilling, and human rights.
Climate, drilling, and human rights, which is a trifecta I had never considered.
I've never considered either, and his whole concern is he's a climate change nutball. So everything's, climate, we're all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. This is a little bit, now I'm going to play clip two. This is a short 14-second clip, which indicates to me the host, this guy, Cal, this guy's bigotry.
Oh, sorry.
Then I remember just 4 years of policy and vitriol under Trump, and now things feel more divided. So I was curious how you feel that we can stay hopeful, and how can we get the country to unify?
Policy and vitriol.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So here we go. Here we go with Biden, and right away we go to the old tropes. And we're going to start off with trope number one in clip 3.
The truth of the matter is I've never been more optimistic in my entire life about politics. No, I mean it now. I tell you what, look, if you think about it, the reason I had not given my words...
Hold on, stop. I was going to clip that separately. I'll tell you what, think about it. Look, I mean, he jams all these things right into one little package. I think it's just dynamite.
I tell you what, look, if you think about it...
I'll tell you what. I tell you what, look, if you think about it, we can do this ourselves. I tell you what, think about it, look.
No, I mean it now. I tell you what, look, if you think about it, the reason I give my words to Biden, I hadn't planned on running again. I had lost my son, Bo. It was a tough time, and I wasn't going to run at all, for real. And then, remember what happened in Charlottesville? Then President Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. And I give my word, that's when I decided I'm going to do this.
Yeah, that was his whole reason for running, was this lie.
Okay, so he's going to keep with this. So that's never going away. No thanks to Scott Adams trying.
Where is Scott Adams? Is he finally gone and done?
No, he's still on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as he's still on YouTube, he's okay. He's safe. But it's like people are like, hey man, check out Gilbert. He's doing value for value. I'm like, no, I have to sign up for something. That's not value for value. No,
not when there's a firewall.
No, that's not value for value.
That's what I should mention. We've got our books in for the Too Many Eggs. If you want value for value,
the printer is done.
TooManyEggs.com. Go check it out and just go get a free copy. There's no firewall.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Donate
you
what
put
you
a
want.
firewall up. That is not value for value. It's called a firewall. All right, here we go. Here's Biden on climate.
I never would have imagined 12 years ago that something as sweeping on climate as the Inflation Reduction Act would have happened. So my question really, and I was watching all of this unfold, is who or what created the political space for you to take that kind of action?
Young people. That generation between 18 and 35 now. They're the ones that created the space. They had enough of it. I mean, they showed up in the 2020 election. They showed up in the 2022 election. And we passed the largest environmental plan in all of history, over $368 billion.
This is the Inflation Reduction Act. Does anybody notice there's something wrong with this picture?
Could it be the inflation problem?
There's he says, you did the biggest climate thing anyone's ever done. In the inflation, what's inflation got to do with this?
Well, that's how they hoodwinked everybody into voting for the stupid thing.
No shit.
Yeah. How's that transitory inflation working, everybody?
Onward to clip 5.
Why the first meeting I had with the so-called, G7, they want to talk about what was my initiative on energy, on dealing with moving toward. For example, I called all the automakers and truck makers, and I asked them to come to the South Lawn the first year and to try to talk them into doing something more, going electric. And within 5 weeks, all of them agreed they were going to go electric, 50% by 2030, and by 2050, all electric.
Now, he starts off by, first of all, he says the so-called G7. Now, you don't say
Let me hear that again.
Why the first meeting I had with the so-called, G7, they want to talk about what was my initiative on energy.
They didn't or didn't?
They didn't, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say.
No, I think what he said. Okay, here's the problem. His initiative on energy was the Inflation Reduction Act, and the so-called G7 includes the so-called EU, who were so-called very pissed off that all of the subsidies, this is why Queen Ursula went to Washington, that all the subsidies were only for U.S. products, and that they basically screwed the so-called G7 partners by not giving any of our money, our printed money, to them for their bullcrap initiatives. That's why he's saying that, because they got all bent out of shape, and it's still not over. I mean, Queen Ursula came in and got some assurances, but we'll have to see.
Yes, I think you nailed it.
What they did get is some inflation over there. So congratulations, you got a part of our Inflation Reduction Act, everybody. Good work.
Clip 6.
You're also responsible for reviewing drilling and oil production.
Yes.
What would you say to those young people who want you to continue to be their champion, but might not think that you're going far enough or fast enough on climate?
Well, first of all, we're going faster than anyone's ever gone. We're going to need fossil fuels for at least the next 10 years. It's not like tomorrow turn it all off.
Okay.
Number one. And so we're going to need fossil fuel. But what we have to do is I've said no more drilling off our ocean. I mean, the whole range. But there has to be the ability to generate some energy. But we can get rid of coal much more rapidly. And by the way, for example, I was up in Massachusetts, one of the largest coal-producing electric facilities in the nation. Well, guess what? We hooked it up to wind technology. And so now, and it's cheaper. We can do solar, we can do wind cheaper than we can do fossil fuel.
First of all, it's wind technology, okay? I want you to know we figured out wind technology. And it's cheaper.
Since when is it cheaper?
Well, since the Inflation Reduction Act paid for it, of course.
So that's a lie.
Yeah. Pretty blatant. Wow.
But let's continue because this guy's all in. So let's go to the next, which I guess is clip 7.
There is a MAGA Republican portion of the party. It makes up about a third of the Republican Party. But there's a lot of people in the Republican Party who are traditional conservative Republicans that you can deal with. But, the gentlewoman from the state of Georgia and the mountains up there and others, Gates, and anyway.
That's very diplomatic. I would have used different language. But
it's
wait a minute. What exactly went down there?
Whatever it was diplomatic. He would have used different language. He would have given it to him.
This, of course, this interview happened a week ago, I think, right?
Yeah, it was just before it was about a week ago.
It was just before the Willow project got approved.
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure.
Up in Alaska, so that's why he was already hedging. Well, we got to do a little bit of drilling. Now we're not going to.
Yeah,
we got to do because I got to satisfy one of my biggest donors up there. It's like so we got to do a little bit of drilling, just a little bit, just so you know, it's a little bit. There's going to be. And by the way, where's all the hydrogen talk? Because we know that it's going to hydrogen.
This is beyond him.
Okay, right, got it. Because he's still building the charging stations.
He's the charging stations and the windmills.
It's wind technology, John.
Wind technology.
Please, don't just call it a windmill. The Dutch, es is windtechnologie. Tilting at wind technology.
There you go.
All right. 8?
I think so.
My focus is just stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused.
Man, oh man. You're President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That's great.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite clip of the group.
In fact, I hope you just made that an ISO. That should just be an ISO for the end of the show.
I have it there as the ISO if you want to use it as an ISO.
Did you? Yeah, maybe.
Save it. Yeah, save it.
I'll save it. It's good. It'll be my ISO. It's my ISO now. I claimed it.
Okay. Now here's the guy. This guy, he's not only gay, but he's very vain.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I just got to hear it one more time.
My focus is just stay focused.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, most people have pulled that clip as the clip of that.
No
interview.
kidding.
So the guy, the vain guy, Kalpin Modi, he has to let us know that he's gay. And then he's got to let us, he's going to ask a question, but he decides to talk about himself a little bit here in clip 9, and it's like an eye roller.
I wanted to ask you a slightly different question. So, my partner Josh and I have been engaged for the last 5 years, which really only means that every auntie and uncle that I have.
Hold on a second. 5 years? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? 5 years is too long to be engaged. I'm sorry. I don't care what relationship you have. This is not going to work out. 5 years too long.
My partner Josh and I have been engaged for the last 5 years, which really only means that every auntie and uncle that I have is beyond disappointed that there hasn't been a wedding yet. But Cardi B is going to marry us, apparently officiate our wedding, which would be nice. But my question for you, Mr. President, is...
Oh, my God. Cardi B is going to officiate our wedding, which would be nice, because she said so on Insta.
Is that pathetic or what?
Yeah, that really is.
This is in an interview with the President of the United States.
Well, considering his level of of cognizance, it kind of livened it up.
Yes, but still,
yeah, that was lame.
To start talking about yourself and your buddy Josh or your fiance Josh and Cardi B and blah 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 blah. So I thought that was the gross.
And really, are your aunties and uncles in India? They're really disappointed about the wedding. I don't know too much about Indian culture, but you got to wonder if that's the only problem they have. I think we're pretty okay in America with this. I'm not sure how cool India is with that. Do we know actually?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I felt the same way when he said that.
I'd like we have Indian listeners.
We have Brahmins.
We'd like to know what's the general.
We have mostly Brahmins, actually.
I'll tell you, like in Jamaica, this is not acceptable. Homosexuality is a big problem here in Jamaica. They do not like it. Historically, they're like, no. So, not that Jamaica and India are the same, but I'm curious now.
Well, I think your curiosity is well-founded. So let's go to This is the last clip, and this one's titled BS Galore.
You codified support for same-sex marriage and interracial marriages like ours. I'm curious what your evolution was like on marriage equality and what the federal government might be able to do to protect LGBTQ Americans, especially trans kids who are dealing with all these regressive state laws that are popping up right now.
I can remember exactly where my epiphany was.
Okay.
I hadn't thought much about it, to tell you the truth, and I was a senior in high school. And my dad was dropping me off. And I remember about to get out of the car, and I looked to my right, and two well-dressed men in suits kissed each other. I mean, they gave each other a kiss. And then one looked like he was heading to the DuPont building, and one looked like he headed to the Hercules Corporation building. And I'll never forget, I turned and looked at my dad. He said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. It's simple. No, I'm not joking. It's simple. They love each other. And it's never been... It's never been. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter whether it's same-sex or a heterosexual couple. They should be able to be married. What is the problem?
Wow. Okay. So I remember exactly how this went down. Because Obama was supposed to be the big gay uniter during his administration. And if you recall, it was Biden who usurped the president and said, we're pretty cool with gay marriage. It's all good. And that was supposed to be Obama's. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. And which is interesting because before that, Biden was the most anti-gay marriage guy. So we already got the law here. So they can always have a union. They don't have to get married. And he went on and on about it.
Right.
And by the way, those two buildings he described where the two guys who just kissed was going to go into are 7 miles apart. Somebody pointed this out, that the DuPont building is nowhere near his high school where he's got dropped off. So the whole story's bogus. He made it up, which is why he said, I'm not joking, which I've identified previously as a tell for an out-and-out lie. And this story's a crock of shit, and the other guy's lapping it up.
Wow. So I got to say something about this, because actually the Keeper and I were talking about this morning. And it started with pronouns, which I'm against, because the only reason for pronouns is to disrupt the parent-child relationship, so that your child can say to you, Mom, Dad, it's them, it's they, which is fun. And that to be a cultural thing, I think, is fundamentally a bad idea. But that's where it started, and everyone's like, whatever, whatever you want your pronoun to be. And by the way, no one uses a pronoun to the person's face who has a pronoun. You never say, hey, how he doing? No, you never say that. And now we have lieutenant governors of, was it North Dakota, saying the following, and I quote, "When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them. That's what it means to be a good parent." And that's where all these laws are coming from, which is, I mean, call me old-fashioned. But no, children are moronic. Probably until they're 30, but okay, all right, you can send them off to war when they're 18. So that's kind of a cultural thing we've decided is okay, which I also don't like. But John, do you remember in 2000, I'm going to say 11 maybe, I remember very distinctly saying, hey, what is this bullying law stuff? What happened to stick? It was in even laws. It was bullying at school. And at that point, and this is how fast it went, we were saying, what happened to sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And, stand up to the bully. And then we got, bullies at school. You can't be a bully at school. And then we got bullying laws, which brought in hate speech laws. And then we got the pronouns. I mean, the frogs are cooking when our children tell us who they are. I'm a fireman. Oh, my goodness. I mean, please respond. Tell me.
Buzzkill Jr., when he was a little kid, was a robot for at least a year. What am I supposed to do?
What did you do? Did you believe him?
He played He played three characters, and for the life of me, nobody in the family can remember the third one. But he played the robot. He'd be a robot for a while, or he'd be Jacques. The waiter.
Wait, not Jacques Cousteau, he'd be Jacques the waiter?
Yeah, Jacques. He'd have a towel around over his arm, and he'd bring us glasses of wine or whatever we wanted. This lasted for about 6 months.
Hey, Jacques, go make me some crepes.
But it's like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I remember when I was a little kid, I played with dolls. I liked dolls. They were fun to play with. And then I didn't want to have my dick cut off because of it.
Okay. Calm down, John. Calm down. Easy does it. Gender dysphoria is a thing that really exists, but it's a very, very small percentage of people.
And it's very rare. And it's not to be promoted until, people got to go through their process of having their actual growth hormones and everything go to fruition. They can't just stop in the middle of everything and see the dick around with some idea.
But
that's fine. I mean, that's a completely opposite view of every liberal in the Bay Area. They think the kid should just determine everything. He's like you said, a moronic kid. They should be given the right to vote, according to a few people.
Yeah.
Because then they vote for climate.
Now, when Buzzkill Jr. was Jacques, did you tip him?
No, that would have probably encouraged it. I'm still trying to remember what the third character was he liked to play.
I think that's great. I mean, Christina was a Power Ranger. I remember that. She was very serious about the Power Ranger deal.
I think when I was a kid, I was a cowboy. Because me and another kid were always dressed up as... it was always Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers.
Yeah, sure.
And we had the guns and the holsters, and we shoot at each other constantly. Nowadays, I don't know if you get thrown into a re-education camp if you did anything like that.
It was so weird. We had dinner last night, and probably the guy who's been here the longest, over 30 years, clearly, he comes up and says, "Oh, Mr. Curry," because now word is out. Because back I was MTV guy back then, and now it's like, who's that? Who's
home to roost?
All of them said, "Welcome home." And so we're just chatting with this, and I don't know how it came up, but he said, I know how it came up. He said something about weed. It's Jamaica after all.
Weed.
And I said,
Jamaica.
Ganja. And so I said, I had to quit because I had to stop putting fire in my mouth from my whole teeth procedure and all that. And he said, I can't do the accents. I quit 17 years ago. No, it wasn't. No, like 13 years ago. I said, what happened? He says, well, it was a Tuesday, and that was my day off, and I was baked at 8:30 in the morning. And he goes off that his child then crawled out of the crib, and the door was open. He was freaking out, and he didn't know. He thought his kid had crawled out of her crib, out the door, and he said, oh, God, if I find her, I'll never smoke weed again. And, of course, she was in the corner of the crib, and he just missed her because he was baked. But then he goes on to say, and we were the original woke parents way before it was fashionable. This is a Jamaican guy. I said, what do you mean? He said, we go to the toy store and we say, we have a son and a daughter. The son, you can have anything you want. Doesn't matter what you want to play with. You can get anything you want. And what did he pick up? A gun. and then to the daughter, same thing. Anything you want. You can play with anything. It's okay. Whatever you want. She picks up a pink unicorn. It's like, now that's just one instance. But there's something fundamentally wrong with parents who say when our children tell us who they are, it is our job as a grown-up to listen and to believe them. That's what it means to be a good parent. No, just hard no. I'm concerned by these statements from elected officials.
It's beyond me.
Wow,
This is the minority, but the problem is you get the people like these elected officials who are promoting it. And then you have the problem in the schools where they're promoting it because the teachers are of such low quality.
And it's all just a money grab. It's all, as we know from our insurance guy, the producer, it's for per child that goes into the system, whether it's the insurance paying for it or the...
Oh, yeah, it's a cash cow, these kids.
$7 million per child. To go through all of this stuff, all of it. And you got to wonder, as a part of these telehealth things that cropped up, during COVID, which some of them are prescribing Ozempic now. That's why Weight Watchers bought one. Some of them have the ability to prescribe antidepressants. What else are they doing? Oh, I don't feel good in my skin. Of course, it's because you're trans. Let me refer you to someone. I'm really concerned that this is happening.
It is happening.
Talk about a genocide. Do you think they think Putin is bad? Yeah.
Well, it's a Democrat genocide.
Yeah. All right. Let's just lighten the mood for a second. Let's play something completely different.
Well, I got to lighten the mood. I got a couple of lighten the mood clips.
Well, can I start you off?
Go.
An Oklahoma woman is recovering from a wild encounter with a monkey. Police say the animal was being kept as a pet at a nearby home, but somehow escaped and found its way to Brittany Parker's porch. She called police, but after losing sight of the monkey, she went outside, and that was a dangerous mistake.
Oh, no.
He was bouncing from my hand railing on my front porch. It happened so fast. The monkey had jumped up off the ground onto my head and ripped out my hair and then ripped my ear like a piece of paper.
A relative shot the monkey. Parker needed nearly 200 stitches and needs surgery on her ear. It happened the same day. An Ohio man nearly lost his arm after being attacked by his pet zebra.
Come on.
How is this light?
I just love the kicker of a guy whose arm was ripped off by his pet zebra. What are you doing, people?
People are nuts. See, now I have clips more like this.
Okay.
Millennial advice.
Okay, here we go.
If you saved $1 a day for a year, do you know how much money you'd have? Roughly $30,000.
Wait. Let me listen to this again.
If you saved $1 a day for a year, do you know how much money you'd have? Roughly $30,000.
If you saved $1 a day for the rest of your life?
No, for a year.
For a year, then you have roughly $30,000? Yeah. What is this, Ethereum? What are these children talking about? Where did you get that from?
I got it from a clip of a bunch of millennial advice.
I don't have it in my show notes. I think in the last show notes, 1 out of 5 people cannot tell time on, and that's all people across the board.
Well, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, but I didn't know the stat was 1 out of 5 of all people cannot tell time from an analog clock. I didn't know it was 1 out of 5 of all people.
I didn't know it was that high either.
That's
I thought
very
it was
high. That's very
all
very
millennials.
High. Are you sure that thing wasn't satire, that millennial advice thing?
I don't know. It sounds right to me.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
here's a good one. Now, this is a very interesting clip. This This clip is titled, and let me set it up, Idiot Trying to Explain Privilege. This is it looks like a kind of a Latina, Asian, it's some sort of a mixed race girl going around, and she's like very easily upset by things. And she doesn't like bullshit artists, and she's interviewing people. She's like one of those on the street types. And she's got some guy she asks him to explain privilege. This is some kid, just a dork white kid out of high school, probably a freshman, who's been taught, certain ways of acting because you're supposed to be this way, you're supposed to feel this way, you're supposed to say these things. And he can't dig himself out of a hole in this very awkward situation. Here we go.
I grew up as a white man, and you're the exact opposite, and so it's like my experiences are going to be different from yours.
How come?
I think, there's a thing of like white privilege.
What privileges do you have that I don't have?
Oh, see, that's the question I keep asking myself because, like, in this day and age, like, all the laws, it's hard to speak on something I'm not fully knowledgeable of. So, like, I'm sorry if I, make a mistake in saying this, but it's
Don't you think it's a problem in society when white people think that they have more privileges than brown or black people?
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the agenda that's pushed off because personally, it's like, not that I think I'm more privileged than anyone else because I had to work to get where I was, and that's like
So why do you have that mentality immediately where you kind of apologize to me, like, let's talk about privilege, let's talk about I'm a white man in America, so we could have grown up differently.
Got you.
Why is that your first initial reaction to me as a brown woman?
Wow, you're getting me good. See, these are the kind of conversations that I love having. And I think it comes from a place of, like,
control.
I wouldn't say caution, but, like, in this day and age, people are so quick to judge and react and cancel. And so I guess it's that like, caution to go into an interview like this. I'm like, I don't know where we're at, but now I know where we're at, and I can, like, go for real.
Whoa. I think I've seen this, actually. I think I've seen this clip a while back.
Yeah, it's been floating around.
It's so sad.
Pathetic.
But I have a friend, and I won't say on the air who it is because you know him very well. He worked at our company for a while. He's having a real hard time in this downturn, certainly in technology. He says, an ex-technology entrepreneur, 53 years old, white and straight, said, I have zero options. I'm getting no work, no one, and it's all because of this. He's not being hired. He can't buy a job. It's distressing.
We had a clip about 5 years ago of a director, a Hollywood guy, who talked about his agent told him, you're not going to get any work for the next number of years unless you come out of the closet as gay.
That's so interesting because that's exactly what Tina said. He should just say he's gay. Fake it till you make it. I'm like, I think he has some scruples.
Scruples.
I think he has pride.
Well, you can always become a podcaster.
Oh, now there it is. Well, that's the end of it. I want to move to China for a second.
CBS News has learned the FBI and Justice Department are investigating TikTok's parent company for possibly spying on U.S. citizens, including American journalists who cover the tech industry. The Chinese-owned ByteDance reportedly admitted it inappropriately obtained data from TikTok users in the U.S. in December. It's just the latest escalation between the social media giant and the White House after the Biden administration this week threatened to ban TikTok nationwide if ByteDance doesn't sell the app.
Now, this is a very old story, this spying on journalists, which, of course, can be done, it is being done actively by every single app you use. Call it spying. If you use the information to track someone, whether you give that to someone to go and spy on them or not, it's not like TikTok has been spying unlike anybody else. So they're bringing this out, and this is CBS, CIA Broadcasting Systems, who are just, this is an old story, and now all of a sudden the FBI is on it. I don't know if that's true. But we received a very good boots-on-the-ground email. Did you see this one from the inside info on TikTok advertising?
No.
I want to share this because this is good. Now, remember that the initial my initial thesis, and still is, that this is all because TikTok has a system that is much better than Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google. They have a way to, part of it may be the algorithm. I don't think it's that important if you read through this, if you hear this. But they're basically taking away billions of dollars from these established companies, and there's no letting up now that we know that they have just announced they're entering the search ad market. So that's squarely in Google's territory. So time to step it up. Our producer says, I was listening to Thursday's show and have some insights on the TikTok conversation. Due to geopolitical issues involved in this and who my employer is, I'm remaining anonymous, of course, if you use any of this as a show. I manage global brand ads on social media for a large tech manufacturer that is very active on TikTok. I'm also responsible for governance and best practices for all social media ads for our company across all our lines of business and countries around the world. This is the kind of boots on the ground we need, and this is very, very good. We have shifted nearly half of our brand social ad budget to TikTok over the last year. Half. And e-commerce and other ads are also shifting a lot of their budget that way as well. I reached out to our rep from TikTok to get an official TikTok stance on what's happening. Copying and pasting verbatim here, except for removing a couple of sentences that would identify my company or the TikTok employee who sent it. Ready?
Go.
So his question is, what's up with that? And are you going to be kicked off? And, what is happening? So the employee writes back, first, I recognize the goal of showing up on TikTok and spending your media budgets with our platform is to elevate redacted brand. I do believe... Despite the political climate,
no.
It says I do believe. Despite the political climate, we continue to deliver on this. It's important to separate congressman sentiment versus user sentiment towards TikTok, which continues to be positive and outpaces other platforms. Second, we are highly confident we will not get banned. Our strategy, and this is from a TikTok ad sales representative. So they're sending this to other people, I presume. Our strategy as a company remains the same. Continue to be transparent, have U.S.-based protections for storing user data in the U.S. with Oracle, which has happened.
It's funny. And
build systems with robust third-party monitoring, vetting, and verification. There's a reason why it's TikTok in the U.S. versus Douyin. Is it Douyin? D-O-U-Y-E-I-N? Douyin?
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
In China. We must adhere to U.S. law as a U.S. company. As headlines prove, TikTok faces more scrutiny than any other tech social media platform. With that, we are more transparent, more proactive, and more cognizant of the guardrails we must have in place if we want to operate in the U.S. I
believe that to be true.
Yes, and I think that they are dumping their data into Oracle, which Oracle and the CIA should be very happy about.
Yeah, exactly what they should be very happy.
Let's look back at the Trump era, 130 million plus users in the U.S. use TikTok to express themselves, so it's a platform tied to the First Amendment, freedom of speech. This was at the foundation of why a ban was denied from the courts during the Trump administration and still holds true. Who has access to TikTok user data? All U.S. data is stored automatically in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure in the U.S., a secure environment to protect Americans' user data. You don't hear this from Hawley or any of these other jamokes, do you now? Data or Rubio.
And I believe it to be true.
Of course it's true. We reported on
yes,
this.
Why isn't the media talking about this? They're just, blasting away.
Data access is managed by our U.S. data security team, who are part of our initiative Project Texas, responsible for implementing layers of security and oversight to ensure that Americans can feel very confident that the data they share with us is safe and secure. What exactly is Project Texas? An initiative in partnership with Oracle that has cost $1.5 billion and has been 2 years in the works, preventing inappropriate access to data, including new approval mechanisms by which U.S. data would be shared with the Chinese government. Data has never been shared, nor have they ever asked TikTok for U.S. user data. Well, it hasn't been shared, but I'm sure it's been peeked at by the CIA. Oracle Cloud infrastructure is the same infrastructure the intelligence agencies use. 5 pillars of focus: independent governance, data and access control, software assurance, content assurance, and third-party oversight. Independent U.S. government-approved third parties will be invited to conduct regular audits of our data system. This is all Project Texas. Protected data will not be allowed to transfer anywhere outside the U.S. TikTok's source code is reviewed by Oracle and a third-party inspector. Enacted since August 2022, first revealed in a letter to a group of U.S. senators in June 2022. Funny? Did you know about that, John?
No, I didn't know that the senators knew all this.
Other important information. All users opt into the data we collect. We are transparent. We never collect real-time physical locations like Google Maps would, but instead approximate locations to serve relevant content as any other relevant app or publisher does.
That's for advertising purposes.
Yes. Unlike other platforms, we also never sell user data to anyone. I don't know. I'm not sure who sells what. We have significant safeguards for users 13 to 18. ByteDance, our parent company, is incorporated in the Cayman Islands, not China. That's interesting. You always hear, Chinese company, ByteDance.
Well, that's interesting.
60% of the company is owned by global investment firms, 20% by our founders, and 20% by employees, including thousands of Americans. How about that? So when you hear, like we played on the last show, Marco Rubio asked, "Can
say it again?"
Okay, hold on a second. Rubio. It was. Was it? Didn't have that ready. It was the. Shoot, man, I don't have that. Where he said, "Can China control the user data?" Yeah, sure. So this is the truth. I'm just going to take our producer's word for it that this is the truth. So it's going to me, it seems very difficult and a lot of hurdles.
It wouldn't be very easy to double check any of this information. It sounds right. And the fuss that's being made seems like a smoke, it's a tempest in a teapot or a smoke screen or to cover up something else going on or who knows what.
And so now,
but nobody does any research.
No. Hey, the Dutch Farmer Party. Woo!
The Dutch Farmer Party. Bring back better.
Tokyo Matt, who told us about computer vision, followed up, which is the ability of, which you are absolutely correct, the ability to use computer vision to look at books on the shelf, whatever people are videoing of themselves. He had an interesting follow-up. TikTok's computer vision via the HD smartphone camera automatically reads, catalogs, and collates the stuff in people's rooms and streams it to a database without the need for humans to organize it. The consumer profiling of young millennials and Zoomers is done in real time with less worry of human error / laziness / poor training / people quitting, etc. When the data is annotated as text, it becomes metadata which can easily be packaged and sold to advertisers. Millions of teen girls dancing in their rooms means millions of advertiser-friendly consumer profiles being created in real time without the time-sucking need of humans. Thanks to computer vision's automation, humans take too long to do this type of work and get lost in the amount of data streaming at them. The AI can suck it up, annotate, collate, turn it into consumer metadata suited to an array of psychographical market segments, and then TikTok can decide what to do with it. Now, as you pointed out, this technology has been around for a long time, but look at the difference. YouTube has shows. Yeah, great shows. People with microphones, with headphones on. That's not a great place to get metadata. TikTok. In your car, in your room, in your bedroom, in your living room.
Oh yeah, no, the room's definitely the way to go.
So
the guys with the microphones, headphones, or even people on Zoom calls with fake backgrounds where there's always how many people have a grand piano in their house? What is the grand piano room? I mean, come on.
So that's the problem. It's not a technological issue. It's a cultural issue of the platform. That's what's going on here. And that's why they need them out. They need them to stop because they are sucking up all the money. And
sucking up the money. That's what it is.
They're sucking up the money.
They're sucking up the money that these guys in Silicon Valley, ever since the whole thing went kind of software from hardware, they feel like they have like a privilege. The obligation is to them. They have a what is it called when you have a right to your money, or you feel that it has to go to you. There's a specific word I'm looking for, and it's like money? This. You have a
greed?
You have some
greed.
A what?
Greed?
A what?
No, it's not greed.
Besides greed, you mean?
Yeah.
They just have this attitude that this should be their money. And TikTok is an interloper.
Entitlement? Maybe?
Entitlement. I'm sorry, I didn't. I must.
Thank you, trolls.
Thank you, trolls.
There's
an entitlement at Google because all the work we did to get this to work in the first place. We're entitled. This is like you see this in sports where the guy's no good anymore. He's been playing the game too long, but he feels he should get more money now because he's put so much effort into it in the past that he's now entitled. He's entitled to some recompense. And so there's entitlement at Google, there's entitlement at Microsoft, there's entitlement at Twitter for sure. It's out of control, this entitlement. And then, of course, the other one's a bitch about entitlements because, oh, my God, people put money in Social Security, they expect their money out of Social Security. What kind of thing is that? And but these guys, entitled.
So because they're losing, they've all en masse decided. And you'll notice that TikTok is one of the few that has said is just not interested, not impressed. They've all decided, GPT 4, that's how we're going to do it. That's going to win. That's the way to do it. This is great.
This brings us to our discussion of AI.
That's right. So good old Sir Gene, Duke of Texas, he texted me last week. He says, he sends me a screenshot of a ChatGPT 4. This is the new version, the new large language set. Is it large language set? I think large learning set, whatever it is. And he sends me this picture, a screenshot, and says, ChatGPT knows stuff. And Gene, by the way, is a very, very intelligent man. He's very smart. But I think he got a little wrapped up in this, Star Trek computer. Tell me what to do. Computer. This is great. And so he sends me this. And I'm not picking on Gene. I love Gene. He's my friend. But I even said to him, I said, man, please, let's just go through this for a second. The question to GPT 4 was, tell me more about Adam Curry. Let's see if you can catch the mistakes, John. Adam Curry is a media personality.
I'll ring the bell.
Okay.
I'll ring the bell.
Adam Curry is a media personality and entrepreneur who was one... Well, okay. John C. Dvorak, Berkeley, yes. What did you catch?
I don't know that, he's a podcaster.
Thank you. Adam Curry is a media personality and entrepreneur who was one of the earliest pioneers of podcasting. Hello, ring.
I think you invented it.
Thank you. He's best known for co-creating the popular podcast No Agenda with his longtime friend, we're not friends, and collaborator John C. Dvorak.
Huh.
Curry was born on September 3rd, 1964 in Washington, D.C., and grew up in various parts of the United States and Europe. No, I lived in Kensington, Maryland. And I lived in Uganda. Where's that? In the 1980s, he became a popular MTV VJ, hosting shows like Headbangers Ball and 120 Minutes. I never hosted 120 Minutes. That was Dave Kendall with the wig on his head. Wrong. After leaving MTV, he became interested in new media technologies and started experimenting with podcasting, a term he helped popularize. I didn't even know where to begin with that sentence.
Huh.
In 2004, Curry began hosting his own podcast. Oh, because it was already invented, and I think I'll do a podcast. The Daily Source Code, which became one of the most popular podcasts of its time. It was the only podcast of its time. He later teamed up with Dvorak to create No Agenda, a podcast that combines news analysis, commentary, and humor. Oh, they got one right. I'll give them that.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
The show has developed a large and dedicated following and has been credited with helping to shape the alternative media landscape. I don't know about that.
I don't either.
Curry is also an entrepreneur, having founded several successful tech companies over the years. I would say the last one was not so successful. He was an early investor in an evangelist for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and has been involved in various blockchain and cryptocurrency projects.
Wow.
No! I'm an investor in Bitcoin, everybody. Overall, Adam Curry is a well-known figure in the podcasting and alternative media communities, known for his innovative spirit. I'm two-spirit. And his ability to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to new media technologies. Okay. I give this entire sentence complete
bullshit.
This is bull crap.
Yeah, it seems it's just it's fluff piece. It's fluff.
And yes, that's what I said.
It's inaccurate fluff.
Flowery words. It's word salad. And I said to Gene, I pushed back. He said, I don't think you're just not seeing it yet. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm seeing it very clearly. This is disastrous. This is disastrous.
Did you look me up?
Oh, my goodness. You really want this? Okay. I did not, but I shall. Now, you have not registered for Chat GPT, GPT-4?
Nope, I'm still waiting in the wings to take this on.
Okay, so I shall. Now, I've signed up through Google. All junk I do goes to my Google address because I do not care. Since I'm logging in for the first time on this computer, this is a free research preview. Keyword being free and preview. And we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, here we go. There's a lot of disclaimers. Okay, I'll ask the same question. Tell me about John C. Dvorak. Oops. Dvorak. Okay. And away we go. Okay. I will read as it types. It's blinking, blinking. Computer, tell me about John C. Dvorak. Blinking, 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 blinking. It's still blinking. It's still blinking.
Can't find me.
Oh.
John C. Dvorak is a well-known American technology columnist, author, and broadcaster. He was born on April 5th, 1952, in Los Angeles, California. Dvorak is best known for his work as columnist for PC Magazine, where he wrote the, quote, inside track column for many years. Dvorak has been involved in the technology industry since the late 1970s. He started his career as a freelance writer and worked for various technology publications, including InfoWorld, PC World, and Mac User. In 1986, he started writing for PC Magazine and became one of its most popular and influential columnists. Dvorak.
So far, so good?
Well, they got my birth date right, and the month I started at PC Magazine, and it's just now just kind of fluff. It's like, it's not bad. It's not wrong. But where's my podcasting stuff?
Dvorak is known for his outspoken and controversial views on technology and the technology industry. He has been critical of companies like Microsoft and Apple and has been known to take a contrarian view on many technology-related issues. He is also known for his skepticism of new technologies and has often been proven right in his...
Hey, was there a laugh in that? Was there a laugh in when you were reading a laugh to going, ha,
yes,
ha, ha, ha?
Things going crazy. It's going nuts on me. I
think it's pretty good what's going on here.
He is also known for his skepticism of new technologies and has often been proven right in his predictions about which technologies will succeed and which will fail.
Wow, are you programming this thing?
I
should be. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. I'm just going to read it myself. I'm tired of the voice. In addition to his work as a columnist, Dvorak is also a prolific author and has written several books on technology, including Dvorak's Guide to PC Telecommunications and Online, the book. I've never read Online, the book.
It was good.
He has also been a regular guest on radio and television programs, including the TV show Tech TV and the radio show No Agenda. Oh, yeah. Radio, baby, all the way.
Radio show No Agenda?
It's the radio show No Agenda. Overall, John C. Dvorak... Oh, we go back to Zippy.
Overall, John C. Dvorak is a highly respected and influential figure in the technology industry, and his views and opinions are widely respected by both industry insiders and consumers alike.
And that's it. That's all we know about you for now.
It stops right there?
Yeah, that's the end.
Huh. All right, I guess your podcast for 15 years, it hasn't caught up to Chat GPT or whatever it is. Huh, interesting.
I hope you don't mind. Just to set, this is important. Whatever this Chat GPT has in its memory is going to be truth for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, well, I like the accolades, so I'm not going to argue about that.
Well, I did just ask, what did he say about the mouse? Just to see what's stuck in there, if you don't mind.
John C. Dvorak has expressed a range of opinions about the mouse, the popular input device used with personal computers. In the past, Dvorak has been critical of the mouse, arguing that it was an unnecessary and inefficient way to interact with the computer. He believed that the mouse was a fad that would eventually be replaced by more efficient input devices. However, in recent years, Dvorak's views on the mouse have softened somewhat. While he still believes that the mouse has some drawbacks, he acknowledges that it is a useful tool for certain tasks such as graphic design and video editing. He also recognizes that many people have become accustomed to using the mouse and find it to be an intuitive way to interact with their computers. Overall, Dvorak's view on the mouse has evolved over time, and he continues to be a vocal and opinionated commentator on all things related to technology.
I would say that's not inaccurate.
It's not the inaccuracy is that you said there's no evidence.
No, that's true. They left out the key element, A, which is the no evidence comment.
Yep.
And the other thing is that I've never really made any assertions in my life that I know of equating the mouse with efficiency in video editing.
No.
And there's no reason for me to do that.
No, I don't recall that either. I don't.
Why would I?
No.
Out of the blue. I don't talk about the mouse. I usually just defend myself over the no evidence comment.
I defend you over the no evidence comment.
Well, you're a good man.
Well, I love you. I mean, we're not friends or anything. We're not friends or anything. Unlike Chat GPT, friends. No, we're not friends.
Wow. Yeah, no, that what you said earlier, I think, is the correct assertion, which is this is going to be truth, whether it is or not.
Yeah. And
that's the problem with these things.
Yeah, because, smart people I know. And there's just one other thing, since we're on the tech talk here for a second. I'm learning now that all phones with cameras, but there's been some specific research done on Samsung, without your knowledge, or I presume without you opting into it, who knows what the small print is, they are not giving a true representation of the picture. They are filling in stuff. They are smoothing out stuff without a filter. They are doing this by themselves so that people say, wow, this is the best camera I've ever had. And there was a test that was done with Samsung with photos of the moon, using the super telephoto lens. And then they started to do some deep research. And these cameras, or these phones really, the cameras in the phones, the processing, is just making it look prettier and filling in bits that aren't there. So not only will the truth be fake, but everyone's going to think they look great, and they're going to be dogs. They're going to be dogs, I tell you. I think these are very, very, very bad developments. You, as a technology commentator, I'd just love to have your final word on this.
Sucks.
All right. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in Cardi B. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my friend on the other end. Friend? John C. Dvorak!
Well, good morning to you, Mr. Rabbit. And occurring in the morning. All ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls in the troll room, who have been quite helpful this morning, actually. Got a couple one-liners, helped us out with some terms we were stuck on. It does happen. We appreciate it. Let's see how many trolls we have right now. We've got 2,282, 2282. That seems pretty good, or is that typical for a Sunday? What do you say?
That's typical for a Sunday, and it's going to drop to 19.5 within the next 5 minutes.
It's already 22.51, and we're dropping 22.19 because people just leave. Like, oh, I don't donate, so why would I listen to anyone else donate, even though it's great content? No, let's just go. 22.
You know what somebody said in the No Agenda Social?
No, what?
They asked the question, they're leaving, where are they going?
Now, that's a good question. What are they doing? Oh, time to do something more important. 2207. We're going down.
I mean, even you went to the kitchen to get a beer or something. Why would you leave?
But you don't have to stop listening. I mean,
you can leave it on. You could, but no, they're literally quitting.
Yeah, like oh no, they're going to talk about donations. Oh, let's stop. I can't hear it. It's going to hurt my ears. 2196. What did you call it? As it going down to?
I said 19,500.
Okay, we'll keep our eye on it. As you just mentioned, noagendasocial.com, another free value for value service. Even though everyone believes Aaroner should be taking some value for running it from his house and maintaining it for.
Aaroner's that kind of guy. He's a good guy.
Yes, he doesn't quit. You know, imagine Aaroner just said.
This is the donation segment.
Yeah, imagine Aaroner said, you know what, I'm just quitting with this thing. I'm done. You know, go pound sand. Get an account somewhere else. No. People would lose their crap. No, but that's not what happens. Because Aaroner's a good guy. You can follow Adam at noagendasocial.com, John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. And, of course, you can participate in the Troll Room, trollroom.io. We recommend a modern podcast app. Get it from podcastapps.com. If you get one that, actually the two that are working full on now, in the way that we designed it, is Podverse and Podcast Addict. You get a bat signal. You get notified when we start the show live. You get the Troll Room in there, the stream. And, of course, you can listen to all your podcasts, including this one, right in that same app. You can move all your subscriptions over. It's all open. It's all part of my work as an investor in technology, whatever that was. And, of course, we have our artists who we adore. The artists always make something fresh and new for us for every single episode. You can follow along at noagendaartgenerator.com, or, again, in those new podcast apps. We have chapters with art that rotates. Dreb Scott does all that for this show and for many others, and we appreciate that. And we thank our artists who we picked for the last episode. Capitalist Agenda, no stranger to the No Agenda Art podium. And I think there was, I hate to say this, but there was kind of a lack in general of art, and his just stood out. This was the TV with the all-seeing eye, with the what kind of legs would you call those? You call those cheesecake legs, I guess? Would that be fair? Would that be fair?
Well,
it was just a good
leggy dancing box.
Yes. Because the stuff we had was a blow-up doll with a blow-up jet. We had in the same goat. We had... there
was the Godfather logo as the Biden family.
Yes, exactly. The Bidens, which it's kind of been done. And then there was a really... we rarely use pictures. Certainly Jill Biden as the crime boss, which it was a comic strip blogger, AI generated.
Well, again,
art.
It violated the rule of unpleasant.
Unpleasant, yes. Comic strip blogger also had someone peeing on a Russian jet.
No, that's the classic little boy peeing that you see on the back of some vans.
A couple of Build Back Better things.
Yeah, no, there was nothing.
Not much, honestly. Not much. Which was Hire a Chung. No, Tom Neal. No one knows who Connie Chung is anymore. Although
she's long gone.
Lots of people know Hogan's Heroes.
Yes, they do.
That has not stopped. I'm so embarrassed about that call. And that was. I think that's what we got. Right? Was there anything else we missed down below? Man, it's raining like crazy here. Figures. I go to Jamaica. Woo! Rain.
It's raining, just pouring.
It stopped a little bit. I mean, it's local. It moves around. It's a tropical island. What do you expect? It happens.
Yeah, it's a tropical rain.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's still wet, like any other rain. So thank you very much, Capitalist
like
Agenda.
pee.
2101. The shaming is working, John. They're hanging out. We haven't even cracked 2,000 yet. That's very impressive.
I could be wrong.
Thank you to all of the artists who submit and are submitting right now. As again, you can
who submit
submit to us. Submit to our. The keeper says it's been raining for 2 hours. Yeah, she's listening live. Of course, she's sheltering in place, no doubt. Thank you again. We appreciate it. And we do provide this feedback because we want you to be better artists, not just for us, but for those who are professionals and never get any kind of this feedback. We give it to you. We give it to you honestly, and we love you for that. So we're not being douchebags. This is an actual service. It's value for value. Even if you don't get chosen, we'll be happy to critique you or criticize as you prefer. Value for value, we've talked about a couple times. That means we appreciate your time, talent, and treasure in any manner that you support us. And of course, we do need treasure. You notice we have one break today, which means the actual physical number of donations are right back down to where they were in February. So we'll start with our executive and associate executive producers. John, you have handled this first one throughout the past 2 days, so maybe you can give us this. It's an Instanite donation, I believe. Tell us what's going on.
Well, we have an issue with this particular donor who will be knighted Octothorpe, and that's what we'll call him, Sir Octothorpe. And what he did was, you should be able to look at his note because I think it's scanned. And what he did is he came in, you should look at it.
Okay.
He came in with $1,000, no jingles, no karma, but wanted us to do...
Oh, I see. No, this is not okay.
No. 5 donations over the next 5 weeks, which were all promoting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, which is fine, I don't mind, but it was the idea of adding a
hold on. Let me just read what he says specifically. Each number is a note for a different show. $200 per show for each note. $1,000 for 5 notes.
Yeah.
Just to explain. I just want to set this straight. We provide a value which we think is valuable. You receive that. You determine if it's valuable for you. So we've already given you value. We're happy to read a note and a thank you. But we don't necessarily have to be, jumping around and doing stuff for you.
Well, we don't have a traffic department for starters, which takes ads and places them here and there. This is a bunch of advertisements. And I sent him a note back. I said, no, this is just a bunch of ads that you're doing. And the worst part is you have a text to phone number request in each one of these ads. So you're supposed to text to a phone number, and he's got one of them wrong.
Text Jesus to a phone number.
Yeah. By the way, and number 3, you've got the wrong number, just for your own information. And so I said, no, you can't. We can't do this. This is just a bunch of ads that you're doing. And by the way, we're talking about this over dinner, and Brennan, Jay's boyfriend.
I'm sorry.
Immediately does it.
He texted it right away?
Immediately. And Jay says, no. I don't know why she said that. I said, no, yes. And then so he reported it. It sends to it's some church in the Midwest, it seems. Mm-hmm. And when you text, you get a book. They're going to send you a book, and you're on a mailing list. I mean, this is a mailing list deal, which I'm very, always skeptical of when I see them. But so I sent him a note. He says, well, and he got a little, he said, well, he said, if you don't like Jesus, kind of, he told me. And then you sent actually a more appropriate note.
Yeah, I said, bro, Jesus does not need any marketing. I think he's just fine by himself.
Which I thought was good. And so I don't know what he's going to tell us to shove it, or I don't know what, but we've got to, I decided, well, we'll knight him and then see. But if he has a note he wants to send us, we'll send it. But please don't do stuff like this.
Yeah, we really do appreciate the support, which is returning value for what we already gave to you, and you determined that to be this.
So he's on the podium.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like one of the few, I think, today on the podium. I think. Let me see. We have two more. Okay, good.
Well, Elliot Johnson's next on the list from Morristown, Arizona. He came in with the normalish 333.33, and he says, "Hello, crackpot and buzzkill. This donation brings me to Nighthead." So he's a night too. I like to be known as Sir Smelliot, sweaty night of the Sonoran Desert. Please wish my mom, Susan, a happy birthday on the 22nd. I'm assuming that she's on the list.
I'll check.
No, thank you for your courage. No jingles, but yak karma.
Well, okay. We got that.
You've got karma.
Yes, she is on the birthday list. No worries there. Susan Johnson in McKinney, Texas, 333.33. Love the show. Appreciate your epic insights. Glad to support as it is I think she put a word in there. Glad to support it as the podcast is of great value. May I please have a double dose of goat karma?
Well, you use one word from is to it, and it's just, you can't read it. It's unbelievable, especially if they're cold reads.
Yeah, that is true, yes. I'm not a big fan of doing double karmas because before you know it, people have triple karmas and quadruple karmas, but we'll do it for you. Of course we'll do that, Susan.
You've got karma.
And we'll just call the second goat karma, which is your second request that to be a health karma. So here you go.
You've got karma.
For her and her entire family. Thank you very much.
So Priscilla O'Leary comes in with the $333 from Ramona, California. I have no note from her, and I can't find a note from her.
We do have the special double up karma for that, which we'll give her.
You've got karma.
Which is special for people with no notes.
It's special.
Stephen Sprague, Kennewick, Washington, 333.
Sprague, yeah.
Birthday switcheroo. Does that mean you switch birthdays with someone? Please credit this executive.
Here's a thought.
Here we go. Please credit this executive producership to my best pal, Kyle Iboshi, on his 50th trip around the sun. We need a douchebag call-out for J-Man.
Douchebag.
And not Mike Hunt.
Douchebag.
No jingles. Health karma for Laura and Maddie. Thank you very much. We got that for you, man.
You've got karma.
Well, the douchebag was from Matt, not Mike Hunt.
Yeah, but I think was it one name or two names?
J-Man and Matt.
Well, whenever
and then he put the Mike Hunt in there as a gag.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Okay.
If that was botched, he has to donate again.
Yeah, I agree.
Sir Flyknot in Meredith, New Hampshire. I'm taking Flyknot Jr. on college tours, and we're getting creative with our pronouns. Can we get a bust him in the mouth and a goat karma? Please call out Bruce as a douchebag. And he better be at that OKC meetup. Love is lit.
Okay, we'll give you this one by seldom request.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
You've got karma.
We've got Anonymous. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Anonymous from Columbus. What?
Yeah.
Anonymous from Columbus, Ohio, 314.16 says anonymous pie donation. I'm sorry, isn't it 314.17?
31415. I think it's 31415. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure pi is 314.17. Blah 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 blah.
Well, whatever it was on the...
No, 313.14159 would be rounded up.
159, so it's 16.
16 would be rounded up. Okay, we'll let you slide. Got it. We'll let me slide.
I'll
let me slide for being an idiot.
Ryan Turney's next on the list, and Ryan Turney's in Stevens City, Virginia. You would know where that is, 30266. With this donation, I can fully join my father at the round table. Thanks for introducing me to No Agenda. Sir, not Jake. Please knight me Sir Doherty of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. Thank you for your courage, John and Adam. Can I get some yak karma, please?
Of course you can. We have it on tap.
You've got karma.
One moment. 1911. What did you call it as?
1950.
They've already usurped you.
They've already gone past my prediction.
First associate executive producer goes to Chad Finkbeiner in Highland Heights, Ohio, 235.55. No note, so we'll call that a double up karma for you, sir.
You've got karma.
Sir Cal comes in from Northville, Michigan at 3823456. Your newsletter stops after a week. Signed up many times, but always the same story. No problems with other podcasts like that unrelenting one, but those guys got their shit together. Love you guys. Sir Cal of lavenderblossoms.org.
This is odd.
I have no idea why he's not getting the newsletter consistently.
Unrelenting.
Other people, every time I bitch about this, by the way, someone says, I've gotten the newsletter perfectly for the last 10 years. It's never failed. and then I got this. So I don't know. I got to say it's Sir Cal's end of it.
We love Sir Cal.
Yeah, we do. And he should be getting the newsletter week after week.
Lavenderblossoms.org if you want some outstanding
Try a
CBD
different
products.
email address for the thing.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering what it is. Is it Gmail? Is it Yahoo? Is it AOL?
Well, sometimes it's MailChimp. MailChimp, if it even thinks that you're using a customized email just for the newsletter, like newsletter for John at gmail.com, something like that, it'll block it.
MailChimp will do that?
Yeah.
Well, why would MailChimp do that? MailChimp.
It makes us think about it.
MailChimp.
MailChimp.
Woo! Okay, everybody. Got to come back on the ganja.
Let's finish this off with Andrew Baker of Stafford, Missouri, $200, and that's our group of associate executive producers and producers for show, and executive producers for show 1539. 1540 coming up. That's kind of interesting. So let's look forward to that. I want to thank all these folks for helping us.
Yes, and of course, these are forever credits, which means they are with you like that one sock you never get out of your drawer. But the difference is Hollywood bigwigs will be impressed with your executive or associate executive producer title. Go to imdb.com if you want to see how many people have them in there, and some of them are big Hollywood bigwigs. You can put it on your LinkedIn, on your resume. It's unlike any Hollywood phony, by the way. If someone questions your credit, we will get on the phone with them or email. I've done that many times. We will vouch for you. We've got knighting ceremony, birthdays coming up. John's going to take us through to the 50s right now.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Starting with Dame Moneypenny in Davis, California. 12333. Dustin Wasserman in Ashland, Oregon, 10150. He says 101.5x for helping me go cold turkey on pod spending. He needs a de-douching is what he needs.
You've been de-douched.
We're saving lives by slowing down your listening.
Nick Allen says Salt Lake City, $100. Anonymous in Maple Valley, Washington, $100. He sent a cute little card in, and just a thank you. It's very nice, and we're going to put some R2D2 karma at the end for him, if you don't mind.
Okay, I got it.
Paul from Surpass Solutions in Toronto, Ontario, 100. J.J. Welch in Missoula, Montana, 8008. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
The string continues with Kevin McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina. Sir Kevin, 8008. Dame Chrissy X in Springfield, Virginia, who comes in with 8008. And she's got a bunch of interesting... Read her note. Just read it to yourself and see if there's anything... She says, I may not be the first trans producer, but at least I am your favorite. I think we've talked about Chrissy X before.
Well, hold on a second. That's very interesting what she's right. She needs the 8008 karma to speed up the estrogen doing its work. Okay.
Oh.
All right. We're happy.
Matthew Elder in Edmond, Oklahoma, 77.4. We have to put an F cancer karma.
Let's do it right now.
Father-in-law Mike.
F cancer.
You've got karma.
Yeah, father-in-law Mike.
Yeah, we got
Anonymous in Metcalfe, Ontario, 70 in pesos. Cole in Casa Grande, Arizona, 6633. Kevin O'Brien in Chicago, Illinois, 6006. Sir Lineman of the Net, Raleigh. I don't have the whole thing on here, but
Raleigh
Hawkins,
Hawk. Raleigh Hawk. Yep, Raleigh Hawk.
Raleigh Hawk.
Yep.
Yeah, Raleigh Hawk, 5678. Sir Speed Bump in Plainville, Connecticut, 5663. Get up. Dean Roker, 5510. Sarah Steinlein in Brentwood, Tennessee, 51.
Steinlein. She put a pronunciation.
Steinlein. Yeah, Steinlein.
Right there, yeah.
That's funny. Steinlein, 5115. Meyer in Casa Grande, Arizona. David, and he came in with 51. David Deloria, San Clarita, California, 5033. This is a switcheroo, zippy knighthood campaign contribution. No.
Oh, come on.
Stephen Schumach in Xenia, Ohio, 50. And the following fact are going to all be 50s. Here we go. Nathan Cochran, Franklin, Tennessee. Tatiana Prince in Hollywood, Florida. Peter Odo in Ridge, New York. Tom Venstra in Hengelo, Netherlands.
He donated last. He's just doing it to mess with you. Veenstra.
Why was it? What does it mean?
It's Veenstra, Tom Veenstra in Hengelo.
Hang him low.
Hang him low.
Samantha Lumadou in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Alexander Verdejo in Gig Harbor, Washington. Scott Lavender, Sir Scott in Montgomery, Texas. Gadget Freak 10 in Western Springs, Illinois. Crystal Fritcher in Pilot Point, Texas. Sir Broken Glass in Teresa, Wisconsin. Sir Andrew Gusick in Greensboro, North Carolina. Joe Oswald in Lithia, Florida. Josh Schatzer in Spring, Texas. Stephen Crummy in El Cajon. Matt Bolke in Minnetonka, Minnesota Nuts. Cason Grover in Nolansville, Tennessee. John Ford in McKinney, Texas. Sir Spud the Mighty in Marietta, Georgia. Pope D. Ciclismo in Rio Verde, Arizona. And last on the list is Sir Jerry Wingenroth in the famous town of Saugus, California. I want to thank these people for making this show a reality.
Yes, and we needed a karma. Was that a special kind of karma or just a regular karma we've given out there?
There was a karma involved, yeah.
Okay, here's a karma that was involved. We got it.
You've got karma.
Thank you again to everybody who supported us. Of course, our executive producers, associate executive producers, we really appreciate you. All the way up to $50. Under $50, we do not mention for reasons of anonymity. Also, people are on the multiple kinds of sustaining donations, which are subscriptions. If you'd like to find out more, it's changing within 10 days, so have a look at it now.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you all once again for supporting the No Agenda Show, episode 1539.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up, slave.
It's your birthday. On No Agenda.
1888, left in the troll room. We'll see what comes back as we are back, and we got some birthdays to celebrate. Sir Andy of Terrigal Beach says happy birthday to Dame Kylie of the Double D Cups. I sent a great picture of her, too. She turned 49 today. Sir Dave of the Clay Pit celebrates tomorrow. Elliot Johnson says happy birthday to his mom, Susan, celebrating on 22nd. Dave Basor wishes his daughter, Sarah, and son, Joshua, happy birthday. Sarah turns 15 on the 22nd. Joshua turns 24 on March 24th. And Stephen Sprague wishes his best pal, Kyle Iboshi, a happy birthday. He is turning 50. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. We do not have any title changes, but we do have a couple of nights, so we're excited to get them up on the podium.
There you go.
There's a blade for y'all, and we got RS. Come on up. We got Elliot Johnson and Ryan Tierney. Gentlemen, very proud to pronounce the KD with the following night names. We have Sir Octothorpe, Sir Smelliot, Sweaty Knight of the Sonoran Desert, and Sir Doherty of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. If you want, we got some cookies and vodka, warm beer and cold women, taquito and tequila, Polish potato vodka, diet soda and video games, fish pie and fellatio. Maybe you'd like some Harlots and Haldol or some Rubenesque Women and Rosé, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escort, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum. And of course, as always, the favorite every single round table ceremony, the mutton and meat. And all of you can go to the brand new website, noagendarings.com, and you can give us, first of all, anyone can go there and take a look at what it is, what you need to participate, how handsome and or pretty they are, because they're for knights and for dames, and we can get you the right size and get them to the right address. Brand new website. This is what's going on. I mean, we are definitely up in our game here. Thank you all so much for supporting the No Agenda Show.
No Agenda Meetups.
I want to give a big shout out to Mike Stulock, who sent me a picture. He says, yes, there is a Hard Rock land-based casino in Geary, Indiana, off of the Burr Street exit. He held the meetup. We talked about it on the last show. He said no one showed up. Of course, it's Geary, Indiana, but he took a photo, and I felt so bad. And he didn't mind. He said, I celebrated by myself, and I know that people need to get to know about it. So please, next time he has a meetup in Geary, Indiana, it's Gary, but I like to say Geary, at the Hard Rock Casino, go and check him out, man. The guy's is cool. I love that he did that. Anybody, of course, can start a No Agenda meetup. And we have a report.
We had a meetup that was a complete failure.
Well, Geary is it's kind of a, it's where Michael Jackson was born, but it's really kind of, I almost said it, sketchy. Or it was at some point. But Northwest Indiana, I mean, you guys could have done something. The Indiana crew is so outrageous in Indianapolis and other places. I think you really should have checked him out. So we appreciate it very much, Mike. Thank you so much. Now we go to North Idaho for the Sanity Brigade meetup report.
Well, it's the North Idaho Sanity Brigade here once again at the Selkirk Abbey in Post Falls, and we all dropped our hit of Vyvanse before the meetup, so we're talking at 1.75x.
Hey, this is Reb, the gold digger. If it wasn't for these meetups, I'd be a hermit in the hills.
Does that mean you're a leprechaun?
Sir Elephants here at a great meetup tonight, and I am not the spook. David is.
Dave Gibson, evidently the spook.
This is Kenny. Definitely make the drive to your next meetup near you. It's worth it.
This meetup is awesome.
We never had a fight.
I endorse that kind of sped up reading. Very good job, everybody. Good job indeed. Coming up today, 2 o'clock. Oh, it's already underway. May even be over. The Local 1-6. Suck it, Greta. We're meeting at a gas station, Alex Gourmet Market, Independence Township, Michigan. Probably also underway now, the Central Ohio meetup, Pins Mechanical, Columbus, Ohio, celebrating 105 years of time zones and daylight savings, the Half-Liter Barbecue in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'll bet you that one's lit. And a whole list more all the way through April 28th, including Germany, including the Netherlands, including Canada, including Osaka, Japan. I mean, we are live and lit everywhere with these No Agenda meetups. They're completely producer organized. You can attend one, you can start one, you will meet people there that you never would have expected to talk to, because we're all weird, but we have all Gitmo Nation, No Agenda Nation in common. Please go check out noagendameetups.com. If you can't find one there near you, start one, even if it's in Gary, Indiana.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let's see. 1859. They're dropping like flies, John. They're not coming back. What's going on? They're missing the best part of the show, which is, of course, the ISOs. And
I have only one ISO, and it's attached to a blooper, which I would like to play. But let me play the ISO first, then I can play the blooper.
Okay. ISO. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, here we go.
Check your panties. Check your panties.
Who is that? The mayor of New York?
No, it sounds like him. It is a black guy, but it's a TV guy. And here's the blooper of the month. Here's how it went.
Check your panties. About 175,000 rice. I think that was supposed to be pantries.
I couldn't warn you before I saw it, and I couldn't warn you, Eric. I'm just so...
Where was that? Check your panties. Where was that?
It was, I think, in the Midwest somewhere, just some random TV station.
TV show. It's not
but
bad.
The guy was reading right from the prompter.
Of
it
course.
said panties.
Right.
And he caught it. Some guys can't even catch it. They'll just plow right through it and never go back.
Right. I have two.
Wow, that's a trip, man.
Got that one. But I think neither of us win. I think it's this.
My focus is just stay focused.
I mean, I think that's got to be the
I'm
one.
Game.
It's just too good. It's just too good.
Stay focused.
All right. Before
what an idiot!
Yeah, we got some show left, and I would like to kick off the banking crisis. Oh no!
If there is a contagion brewing, First Republic Bank is now patient zero. Its stock price plunged another 33% today after S&P downgraded the bank's credit rating amid fears of a customer exodus.
Altogether, I decided to close this account. It's not a big money, but still money especially for retired people.
First Republic isn't the only mid-sized bank suddenly facing a crisis of investor confidence. PacWest Bancorp stock has tumbled 66% this month. Western Alliance Bank, 57%, despite balance sheets that look better than Silicon Valley Bank's did before it failed last Friday.
There is a smoldering fire that has not actually been put out yet.
CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger says banks across the country are looking to boost their cash reserves. U.S. banks borrowed more than $150 billion from the Federal Reserve this week alone, a new record.
What does that tell us? Tells us that the banks are really scared about the amount of deposits that are leaving.
The White House called on Congress today to fine and claw back compensation from top bank executives when their banks fail. The CEO of Silicon Valley Bank reportedly sold more than $3 million worth of stock just days before the FDIC was forced to take over.
I love how that's almost as bad as very fine people. You know, this keeps popping up. Those horrible bank executives, they did it. They were selling stock into their crash. No. These are registered. This is registered far in advance. That's how it works. It's not like a big secret. But that's what CBS will, it's just like, to me, it's like they
all do it. They all do it. They want
yeah.
something. They're trying to create news.
Exactly, like this.
One thing lawmakers say they do want to do is to determine whether federal regulators could have done more to stave off the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and avoid all of this turmoil. To that end, tonight they are announcing their first hearing on the matter later this month, where they plan to grill top officials from the Federal Reserve and the FDIC, Nora.
Man, did you see Janet Yellen? Being
I did.
Interrogated by Lankard. Is it Lankard? Lankford from Oregon. I thought that was all telling because this genius By the way, if you'll recall, the former New York banker thinks she's a great economist, thinks she's great. We've talked about that, I think.
Not in any detail.
Well, no, but he's just all in. He thinks she's fantastic. I just think when you're being questioned by a senator and you have, just as we say in the old country, a mouthful of teeth, like a humana, that's that's not a good look. I pulled a shortish clip, not the long clip that you might have seen.
Will the deposits in every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of their...
By the way, this guy should totally be doing a podcast. What a great set of pipes. I love his voice. It's very distinct.
...size be fully insured now? Are they fully recovered? Every bank, every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of the size of the deposit.
Oklahoma, not Oregon, sorry.
Will they get the same treatment that SVB just got or Signature Bank just got?
A bank only gets that treatment if a majority of the FDIC board, a supermajority of the Fed board, and I, in consultation with the president, determine that the failure to protect uninsured depositors would create systemic risk and significant economic and financial consequences.
So what is your plan?
Made that determination.
Right. So what is your plan to keep large depositors from moving their funds out of community banks into the big banks? We have seen the mergers of banks over the past decade. I'm concerned you're about to accelerate that by encouraging anyone who has a large deposit in a community bank to say, we're not going to make you whole, but if you go to one of our preferred banks, we will make you whole at that point.
Look, I mean, that's certainly not something that we're encouraging.
That is happening right now.
That is happening because depositors are concerned about the bank failures that have happened and whether or not other banks could also fail.
It's happening because you're fully insured no matter what the amount is. If you're in a big bank, you're not fully insured if you're in a community bank.
Well, you're not fully insured.
Well, now, this seems like they're picking winners and losers, and Janet Yellen is one of the deciding votes. And it seems a foregone conclusion that anything but the big 4 or 6 banks, that they'll just swallow everything up. And we even got an email from the CEO of our bank, John. Did you see it?
No, everyone got one but me.
Huh. I was like...
He's going on about this bullshit. Well, the Mechanics Bank, which is what we use, which does not take Zelle, which is probably a reason that they'll always be in business.
Because that's why they're not going to... There's no contagion, no Zelle contagion with our bank.
They refused during the bailout of 2007, 8, and 9. They refused to take government money, and they were bragging about it for a long time. We're not taking this because we're going to be obligated.
That's right.
And, they get their FDIC insured, and they got the rest of it going on, so I'm not concerned. But I guess some people must have been because it's a small bank, even though it's not that small. There's like 200 branches all up and down California, but I guess it's smaller than Bank of America.
Well, now all the smaller banks, I think, are saying, hey, we want 2 years of full-on deposit insurance for everybody. Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Well, they might end up getting it because they're going to think their discussion earlier today that I was listening to, discussing getting the $250,000 insurance jacked up to $10 million. How's that for a change?
But so what I'm not an expert on this, but I see the charts and I see that all these banks immediately went to the Federal Reserve discount window, which was initially created for lender of last resort. And although it's only one spike, the spike of the borrowing I think was $297 billion. That is indeed a record, but it would have to go on for a lot more before it covers the record of 2008.
Well, they just grabbed that money just in case there's a little mini run on any of the branches of any of these banks, which I have not seen. I mean, First Republic is the real bad actor bank, and then we still don't know much about Signature.
Yeah,
and then of course Silicon Valley Bank was the poster child. Meanwhile, it's all covering up for the fact that the real bad actor, which is being ignored completely in our news coverage, is Credit Suisse.
Wow. I mean,
which took billions of dollars to prop up.
Including a $9 billion swap line from the Federal Reserve that went to the Swiss central bank. Like they needed the money, I guess. So what everyone...
Yeah, so they could prop up Credit Suisse.
So what everyone's...
This is a corrupt operations.
Yeah.
That bank is going... Credit Suisse is not going under. I just don't see how it could possibly happen.
Well...
There's too many skeletons in the closet.
Well, the skeletons would be the derivatives that I've been talking about since the beginning of the show 15 years ago, which has never materialized. But that would be a fine time to have that unravel, because then we're really screwed. And they call this contagion.
I want to start with going back maybe 6 days or a week at this point. It seems like this banking crisis really came as a surprise to so many people. How did the collapse of one institution in California lead to the potential collapse of the entire banking system?
Christina just mentioned a core concept in banking and finance, and that is confidence. And when we look at one situation, it's kind of easy to explain it. So we say, Silicon Valley Bank, they did a lot of business with technology. They loaded up on long-dated bonds.
Why do you have to talk like that? Why is that so important to go up like that every single time? Why is CBS doing that?
But the reality is, the way this moves from one institution to another is that people get spooked. We lose our confidence. And we then say, what other banks were like Silicon Valley Bank? What's going on there? And you kind of lift up the hood and you check it out. To be clear, for anyone watching right now, if you have less than $250,000 in an FDIC-insured institution, you are fine. And even for those with more than $250,000, perhaps if your institution comes under trouble, there could be a rescue. It's not explicit, but I think there's some implicit guarantees that are floating around out there.
Yeah, write her name down. Write her name down, that CBS lady. Don't worry, she said. It's all good. By the way, I'm hearing people specifically blame Jason Calacanis for the bank run on Silicon Valley, known as the all caps people, which was very distinct. And he started on Tuesday before the collapse saying, this is horrible, get your money out. Molly Wood quit his show. Did you see that?
I saw the note. I don't know. I didn't listen to the.
It was. He said, Molly Wood has moved on and we wish her the best. Molly Wood bailed, but I think she knows something's coming down. I think Jason Calacanis, and I don't wish him any ill, of course.
He's a nice guy, actually.
And I think he probably meant well, but he might end up getting some blame for the Silicon Valley Bank.
I think if that's the case, I still ask the question, I thought it was illegal to encourage a run on a bank.
Come on, lawyers, No Agenda Nation lawyers, let us know.
Let us criminal attorneys. We do have a couple, but
yeah, we got a few.
They never chime in unless they're, I had too much work. I get paid by the hour. I'm not going to chime in.
Oh, well, nothing pro bono for us, huh? Okay.
Not happening.
Now, so what did not help, or maybe will help, I don't know, is the European Central Bank. And I just want to play the opening of Fifi Lagarde's raising of the interest rate by 50 basis points, which, of course, in the U.S. is part of what caused this whole issue, is the interest rates that went up too fast and I guess too much too fast. And now she's replicating this in Europe.
So good afternoon. The Vice President and I welcome you to our press conference.
Thank you.
Inflation is projected to remain too high for too long.
Okay.
Therefore, the Governing Council today decided to increase the three key ECB interest rates by 50 basis points, in line with our determination to ensure the timely return of inflation to our 2% medium-term target.
Now, this, of course, will also affect Credit Suisse and UBS, who might be buying them this weekend.
The elevated level of uncertainty reinforces the importance of a data-dependent approach to our policy rate decisions.
A data-dependent approach to our policy-based something decisions. Woo, doozy.
Which will be determined by
data,
our assessment of the inflation outlook in light of the incoming economic and financial data, the dynamics of underlying inflation, and the strength of monetary policy transmission.
Wow, monetary policy transmission. Do you know what that means?
I don't know what she's talking about.
This is what I love about her.
We are monitoring current market tensions closely and stand ready to respond as necessary to preserve price stability and financial stability in the euro area. The euro area banking sector is resilient with strong capital and liquidity positions.
However,
in any case, our policy toolkit...
Wait a minute, so it's strong, but in any case, our policy toolkit...
Capital and liquidity positions. In any case, our policy toolkit is fully equipped to provide liquidity support to the euro area financial system if needed and to preserve the smooth transmission of monetary policy.
Exactly. The smooth transmission of monetary policy. If only I could reach my tool belt, my policy toolkit. Oh, man. That was just a bunch of hooey right there. And, of course, the only question that matters is...
Quickly, is this the end?
The end of what?
You won't see any more.
I can't say that. We're in the eye of the storm. And what I really do think is that there is a lot of negotiations going on this weekend to sell banking assets and banks themselves.
All right. Isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
These people are creepy.
Trying to make news. I have a couple of clips left. I'm going to skip a few, but
sure.
I do have I have the vasectomy ad.
Oh, goodness, yeah. Now, this is based on a story that we did, and we could hardly believe that there was going to be March Vas Madness, and the idea was get your vasectomy during March Madness, for people who don't know, is the big basketball tournament here in the United States. Everyone participates with their brackets and angles and whatever. Like, oh, yeah, I know who's going to win.
Yeah, angles.
Brackets and angles.
I always participate with my angles.
I sure do. And so
I have I have that. I also have the Satoshi clip you wanted. Well, I also have the clip I like, which is what does the vice president do with Kamala Harris on the Colbert Show?
Well,
so you choose.
Well, why can't we do all three?
We have time.
Yeah, we got time. I want to play
let's start with
the ad.
Yes.
With the ad. The Vax ad. The Vax ad.
It's back. Vast Madness and the Vasters at Urology Austin. If you're finished having case, then it's time to get your vasectomy at Urology Austin during March or April. After your vasectomy, sit back and watch sports all day. College hoops in March. The pro golf tourney in April. You're watching them under doctor's orders. We have 18 convenient locations, so getting your vasectomy is quick and easy. Sponsor limited, so call today. Check urologyaustin.com for more details. Vast Madness and the Vasters at Urology Austin. Male urology specialists.
So it's true. It was really true. And they're promoting it during March Madness.
It's insane.
Oh, we're a great country, man.
Now, I thought that was... I still listen to that ad. I was saying, is this an ad or bullshit?
I believe it. It
sounds like a well-produced hoax.
Oh, well, that would be... It's a very good... I mean, it's a very well-produced hoax then, because it fooled me. I'm all in on it. And it's in Austin. So that makes sense. These types of things are targeted at Austin.
I think the hoax was... If it's a hoax, it's set up correctly.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's completely believable.
Yeah.
But I still question it.
All right, next we'll do the Satoshi thing that I wanted, apparently.
Well, you said I didn't have the clip for the last show, and I said, well, I'll bring the clip if you want it. And it's the complete clip of, it's this woman who was Homeland Security giving a little closed doors lecture, and she brings Satoshi into it and saying that they went and talked to the guy, and it really kind of ends with abruptly, and I have a better version that our friends sent us. Dakota sent us a second copy, or the full copy, but it still could have gone longer. Let's play it.
We looked at Bitcoin. It was the most prevalent at that point. We had seized quite a bit of it, millions of dollars worth, under the Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another...
Because she has that same milieu voice of the black women that were in the Obama administration.
She totally does.
She sounds like the twerp. She sounds like all of them, and she's a small black woman in the government. She is part of the milieu. She has that voice,
so she'll probably be just as accurate as all of them.
Well, I don't know about
Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, which was called Black Market Reloaded. They were sending weapons through Reloaded. Packages and through apps.
Hold on, Black Market Reloaded, great term. I love Black Market Reloaded. Nice.
Through packages and through ordering them on the dark web. And he was really, really smart, forward-leaning agent. And he goes, I want to go interview Satoshi Nakamoto. And we're like, what? He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we're like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters. And we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people, and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what their reason for it was.
Oh, man.
That ends, and the rest of it is, from every podcast about Bitcoin you want to listen to, they're all speculating on who the 4 guys are. And that's where it's left off. Now, Dakota sent a note saying that he suspects that Bitcoin, which is being mined mostly in China now, is
no. I'm sorry. China, it's now being mined mostly in Texas. China outlawed mining, and it all moved to Texas, or most of it.
Okay, well, it's in Texas. But he claims there's something to do. It's an op of some sort.
Okay.
And that's the end of it. And that's all I wanted to. All I want to do is play that clip and not talk about it, because it's like, okay, because now we sound like a Bitcoin podcast and yak about all kinds of nothing but speculation.
No, I don't want to say anything other than that one of those 4, the one they're talking about, Craig Wright, was sued and lost over this ridiculous allegation.
Okay.
And it's at 28,000 right now. Magic. Okay, go to Colbert.
It's going higher.
It is.
No, until the end. Now, so Colbert gets, this is a big clip everyone's talking about. This is Colbert asking Kamala Harris in a very roundabout way, what does the vice president do? She can't answer it. He doesn't follow up because he can't, because he's a knee-jerk liberal. But he introduces it by talking about some of the TV shows like the Veep and all these other things, and how they're talk about in these shows, what does the vice president do? Nobody seems to know. So he's throwing it to Kamala. She's going to tell us what the vice president does, and she can't do it.
Is that her character, Selena Meyer, is frustrated by the sometimes vague duties of the role. Like it's a high constitutional office, but it's not prescribed so much about what you're supposed to be doing. Does that ring true? Like what is the actual role on a daily basis as you have found it?
Well, I have the great privilege of serving with Joe Biden, who was president of the United States.
Wow. Did they flash the applause sign? What did they do here? They
went nuts.
That's real, huh? I mean, that must have been the fan club. It must have been the vice president's office.
It's his audience.
Okay.
Right. Exactly right. And was vice president, right?
Does that affect it? Does he understand what it's like to be a vice president?
He does. And he really is a true partner, and he understands the job. And remember, we came in during the height of the pandemic.
Yes.
And so much of the work was about, okay, we've got to cover a lot of bases, and let's figure out how between us we can do it. Mm-hmm. But he is an extraordinary leader, and I wish that people could see what I see, because there's only one person who sits behind that resolute desk. And the decisions that person has to make are the decisions that nobody else in the country can make. And he's an extraordinary leader.
Woo! Yeah!
Really is.
Lead the way, Joe! Really?
That's an excellent answer. And
wow, whoa! What is he doing here? Is he just trying to help her through it? Like, you did that. Well, finally, you got something right. It's been so boring. That was an excellent answer. Is that what he's doing here?
I have no clue.
That's an excellent answer. And the question was, what is the job of the vice president? And your answer is part of the job, I'm guessing.
Well, my job is to do, for example, I'll tell you, I was recently in Munich at the Munich Security Conference. Yes. And the job there was to stand up, and as you know, most of my career I spent as a prosecutor, and I declared that we, the United States of America, believe that Russia has committed crimes against humanity.
Yes. Yeah! Woo! Crimes against humanity. Well done. Holy moly. I don't even know where to start with that.
Of course not.
I don't think there's anything to start at all. It's just horrible.
It's a show ender.
Wow. That is a show ender. Holy crap. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for supporting us in our value for value proposition known as the No Agenda Show, best podcast in the universe. We, of course, look forward to returning to you on Thursday. We'll do it once again here from the West Indies and northern Silicon Valley. It's a combo of champions. You're right, John. Bitcoin is an op. It's Noah's Ark 2.0. End of show mixes. We have Jesse Coy Nelson. We got Fletcher. And let me see what we have on. Oh, we got Grumpy Old Benz, Darren O'Neill, and Sir Ryan Bemrose. That'll be dynamite. Looking forward to that. Just stay tuned to the Troll Room for it. Coming to you from the heart of the West Indies, Montego Bay, Jamaica. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
Yeah, from northern Silicon Valley, where it rains here, too, a little bit. I remain here. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday. Please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos, a hooey hooey, and such.
Let me now bring in Congressman Dusty Johnson. He's a Republican from South Dakota.
Dewey Cox.
Dusty Johnson. He's a Republican from South Dakota.
Dewey Cox.
I do think we want to be strategic and forward-looking. I do think get, more provocative.
If we can't push back hard against Russian imperialism and Russian aggression in this instance, we're going to see greater issues that we're going to have to deal with down the line by a growing axis of evil, that being Russia, North Korea, China, Iran.
Get, more provocative.
What would Ronald Reagan do right now? He would start shooting Russian planes down if they were threatening our ass. They shot down our drone. Threatening our ass.
Get, more provocative.
Dusty Johnson. He's a Republican from South Dakota.
They shot down our drone.
So now for some news about NPR itself. It's about to lay off about 10% of the workforce.
Only old people listen to NPR.
Do we have the demos on this?
Look,
David, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, but this is a tough day, as you know. NPR announced a major restructuring today.
Yeah, look, it's
So here's the breakdown.
Okay, so it's going to add up to about 100 jobs.
So here's the breakdown.
It's a real loss.
What's good with Stretch and Bobito? Radio Ambulante, Bullseye. I've never heard of any of these.
Programming is where so much growth has happened lately, particularly in the podcasting division.
Okay, I'm done.
What does that actually mean?
A lot of our colleagues doing journalism are doing so under the rubric of podcasting, but it's still really part of a greater journalistic function.
Sure.
And so there's that.
And the point is that those days are over.
Do it.
You know what? That microphone you have, we're taking that.
But,
we're taking that as part of your downsizing because we have so much journalistic integrity.
But, take a hatchet. What killed?
Chop and drop.
Do it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, look, it's a hatchet.
No. David, drop.
That, killed.
Folk and Flick. This is not the way to go.
Is NPR media correspondent David Folkenflick.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Can Zippy get a show with those guys?
You bet. It's been a real crunch.
It's been a riot.
Basketball.
Harris.
Got a basketball.
Harris.
her alma mater, Howard University, got blown out. They lost. And unfortunately, after the game, they suffered a fate that's worse than actually losing the game itself by having to listen to Kamala's word salad.
Harris played hard. Harris. He played to the very last second. Harris. You hustled out there. You are smart. Harris. Until the last second, you did not stop. Harris. And I'm so inspired. Harris. You showed the world who vice and honor. Literally, what you have done is in historic proportion.
If you lose, you lose. They got blown out. Okay, there was nothing to celebrate there. If I was them, I would just rather not heard that speech from the vice president. I don't think Kamala got to where she is because of things that come out of her mouth. I actually think it's the exact opposite.
You can clap. It's okay. And I inhale. I did inhale.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA.
My focus is just stay focused.